Yo, what's going on, everybody? Let's see.
Mount in the front for my...
What should we start with? How about some Jake, bro?
Welcome back, Defenders. Jake here. Because I'm American, I feel compelled to start with this story first. Washington does not encourage or support Ukraine's strikes inside of Russia. This is according to the U.S. State Department. The official statement followed a Financial Times report last week that alleged Washington of relaying wishes to Kyiv not to strike Russian oil refineries ahead of the U.S. president.
Am I a fan of the band Infant Annihilator? Never heard of them. You know, it's, and whatnot. Oh, hey, butts. That is a good juicy behind.
This is inside.
Surprising how the alkaline community demonizes tofu.
Do they now? Oh god. Fucking Sv3rige.
Tofu. What tofu will do to you is this. Tofu will enter the body and begin to rob your moisture out of your body.
Tofu does not rob the moisture out of your body.
Your moisture. Besides robbing your moisture, it's going to rob you of your oxygen. Why?
Does not do that either.
Because tofu is starch.
Tofu is not starch.
Was made during the year of 1825 by Rigor Mendel. So now, as we look at this tofu business,
That doesn't sound right. Who invented tofu? Prince Liu An. Tofu making was first recorded during the Chinese Han Dynasty about 2,000 years ago. Chinese legend ascribes its invention to Prince Liu An, 179 to 122 BC. And here's Dr. Sebi claiming it was made in 1825 by... who again?
we find that it is so acid that she came to me and she said that she was anemic, and she showed me her hands. They were yellow because of tofu. Do not, under any circumstances, give this to your children.
Sebi is such a fucking lying piece of shit, dude.
There were no tofu because many people think that tofu is a natural food. Well,
look at all the tofu I got here, bitch.
did you know that tofu was made in England? The bean is called soy.
Tofu originated in China.
That bean was made by a Benedictine priest. His name was Rigor Mendel.
Gregor Mendel did not invent tofu. By the way, isn't Gregor Mendel from, like, the 1900s? Maybe it's a different person he's talking about, but, Gregor Mendel was in, okay, 1822. So he's got, like, the date kind of right, but he was born in 1822. So how would he have made it in 1825 at 3 years old?
That bean contains starch and inorganic silica.
Starch is not an inorganic silica.
When you eat tofu, you're eating plastics.
Tofu is not made out of plastic.
It's tofu. It is soybean that George Washington Carver used to make plastics. So let us act.
George Washington Carver did not make plastic from soy.
So said the question, how could we use a
This guy is out of his mind. I knew he was crazy, but I didn't know he was this crazy. I've never actually seen any of his content.
That soybean delivers the same amount of sulfide in the body as does alloy. Anybody eat soybean? That stuff is bad. Whenever you eat soy, your body have problems digesting and assimilating iron.
That is not true.
Sulfide loves to eat up your iron, and you will forever become anemic and remain anemic. Oh, don't tell me you eat soy, you are anemic.
That is marvelously stupid. Thanks for the donation, Will Mage. He who invented tofu donated $2.
A quick petition to help Hamas free Palestine. You're all in? All right. Oh yeah, you're in?
Easily.
I just have to read terms and conditions just so you know what you're signing.
Okay.
By supporting Hamas freeing Palestine, you agree to the following. You agree that every Jew, Christian, and non-Muslim in the world must be slaughtered.
I don't know about that one.
You endorse making homosexuality punishable by jail or death.
Oh no, I don't.
You don't agree with that? You believe Iran should use Palestinians as puppets to spread radical jihad and destroy the West? No?
No.
I'm glad I read the terms and agreements. You support strict Sharia law, which bans women from showing their knees, hair, playing sports in public, not being able to travel without a man's permission.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Not interested? Oh, okay. You want?
Well, yeah, when people learn about what Hamas is, they suddenly have a different opinion. Not surprising. Thanks for the donation, he who invented soy. Or tofu,
Presidential election.
Hey, Aaron,
to
what's
begin
up,
this
dude?
Financial Times article was just one story citing one anonymous source. In the last week, Ukraine has come out and denied this, stating that the United States has never pressured it to stop attacking Russian oil refineries. And indeed, in the last week, Ukraine has continued to strike Russian oil refineries. Now, concerning this language...
React to this.
Let me see, Dodo.
Trump. I am ready to have a president who can complete a sentence again, okay? I'm ready for a president who can save this country. And this is why I'm here supporting President Trump. He's done so much for the black community. He's done way more for the black community than any other president.
Can you elaborate on that?
Right, so when he took out a 3-page ad in a newspaper trying to get innocent black people put back in prison, that's doing something for the black community.
That a little bit. What is
What did
it?
he do? Oh, we're gonna be here all day.
And he started all.
Oh my god. Are you gonna do some motovlogs soon? I don't know about soon, but I am gonna do them. It's still fucking cold and shit. And, you know, but once it warms up, I think the weather's supposed to get better in about a week or two. Probably start doing them again. Grey Knight donated $2. What do you think of this muscle mommy? She's also vegan, and yes, she has an OnlyFans. Let me see. She pretty fine. Is she vegan? Yeah, she's pretty cute. Pretty good butt. I approve. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
All this trouble.
What trouble?
That's racism and all that.
The division of the United States has all come from Obama.
In what way?
because he's black and he tore it one way and tore it one way. And I mean, they expect you to believe what they say and not let the American people think for themselves.
I think we had done enough.
Right, but wouldn't it have been easier? I'm just asking, wouldn't it have been easier if there were 4 days where you could go in with the same?
You know, I'm sure it wasn't easy for those guys that died in the Revolutionary War. And I'm sure
Nothing,
it was
but I think that they probably fought for.
the least that you can do is show up and
Oldie but a goodie donated $2.
Somebody tag in Donald Trump. Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these beautiful people.
Oh, is this boat captain?
They're breaking.
Told you it would be broken.
Yes, sir. Anything, sir. Lord, I'm the Lord's child. I promise you.
These people are unhinged. Thanks for the donation, oldie but a goodie. Donated $2. Whenever you say I'm probably going to do a morning stream, then stream later in the night tomorrow, that means you aren't going to stream at all tomorrow. That's what always happens. I had a bad day. Let's just put it that way, okay? I'm sorry. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
vote for people that have died. So no, I don't buy that. That to me is a joke. If you care about freedom, if you care about...
Well, did they care about freedom?
Absolutely, they died for it.
They were slave owners.
Oh my gosh. So you know,
No, I'm asking. That's why.
You really want to know who the original slave owners are? I mean, let's talk about the human condition.
It's black people's fault, right?
I'm just asking. You're so like out of one side, you're saying, and I understand what you're saying. They believed in
Slave
freedom.
owners even get into this.
Well, because freedom. That's what I'm talking about. They believed in freedom. I mean, we're in Charleston, right? Yeah. This was the biggest port in America at that time for the slave trade. So I'm asking, when you say that that they believed in freedom, you know, it's a little hypocritical historically, is it not?
Absolutely. Have you read history? I mean, like, let's talk about the Jewish folks. They were slaves for how many thousands of years? Christians were slaves forever.
We can talk about there are many enslaved.
But let's go back. Our founding fathers were indentured servants. Most of them were fleeing the British rule because they were slaves themselves.
No, they
so
weren't.
I don't buy this whole, you know, it's a challenge and slavery. Listen, the only reason why people are talking about race now, people are talking about slavery now, tell me one person here who has in one generation been a slave to anybody.
Nobody has. I'm just talking. I'm not talking about the founding fathers. I didn't bring them up. I was just asking. Because you brought up freedom. They believed in freedom.
They did.
So I asked. Yeah.
And they did.
Okay.
And they got it. 14th
Excellent.
Amendment.
When President Trump was in office, black home ownership was up over 30%. Black unemployment was at an all-time low. Black unemployment for teenagers was at an all-time low, his historic low. He gave so much money to black historic colleges.
Sing this as Richard Burgess.
I shall do that for you, Matthew. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Good evening, VG. I'm so happy to see you today. I hope that you are doing great tonight. So, have you ever seen this site that has accurate electoral vote counts for this election? This is alarming. Thoughts?
Today's win probability 90% Trump. I find that hard to believe. So yeah, I don't think you're gonna see a decisive Trump victory like that. Oh God, hopefully not. Thanks for the donation, though, Ben. All day, staring at the ceiling, making friends with the shadows on my wall. All night, hearing voices telling me that I should get some sleep because tomorrow might be good for something. Hold on, feeling like I'm headed for a breakdown. And I don't know why. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell. But stay a while and maybe then you'll see a different side of me. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little impaired. I know right now you don't care. But soon enough you're gonna think of me and how I used to be me. Talking to myself in public, dodging glances on the train. And I know they've all been talking about me. I can hear them whisper and it makes me think there must be something wrong with me. Out of all the hours thinking somehow I've lost my mind. But I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell. But stay a while and maybe then you'll see a different side of me. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little impaired. I know right now you don't care. But soon enough you're gonna think of me and how I used to be. I've been talking in my sleep. Pretty soon they'll come to get me. Yeah, they're taking me home. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell. But stay a while and maybe then you'll see a different side of me. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little impaired. I know right now you don't care. But soon enough you're gonna think of me and how I used to be. Yeah, how I used to be. How I used to be. I'm just a little unwell. How I used to be. How I used to be. I'm just a little unwell. Yeah, that sums things up for me perfectly. Thanks for the donation again, Matthew. Stitching, no fap. 2 years, 5 months, 5 days. Well, thanks for the support, dude.
Advice: if you say you're going to stream tomorrow but are unable to, you should really make a post saying you can't stream tong hit, or maybe it's best if you try streaming every other day rather than every day.
Yeah, I'll be sure to do that in the future just to tell everybody. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I figured that, and even that website mentions that the map can always change. In fact, last week when I checked that map, Trump had Illinois, but it's not towards Biden now. They are labeling the swing states too quickly for Trump, but I think Biden's got this.
If Trump wins, I have no faith in humanity anymore. Thanks for the donation, though, Ben.
Actually, they didn't even. There was a time when they had to beg every president for money. President Trump said, you don't have to beg anymore. I'm going to give y'all an unlimited amount of money. So you don't have to keep knocking on every president's door.
Historic black colleges did not get an unlimited amount of money from Donald Trump, and historic black colleges are a fucking scam.
Begging for money for help. President Trump did that. Not Barack Obama, not the first black president. President Trump did way more for black people than any other president.
No.
And I can be here all day, but I have to go.
To lose it.
I can be here all day, but I have to go to my seat pretty soon to hear the president speak.
If he were to lose again, what would that mean for black America? What would that mean for South Carolina?
Well, if President Trump, to lose again.
What would it mean for you too?
Well, actually, what it would mean for America, I think America will be doomed. Look at what's going on in this country. We are losing our country right now. This country,
I don't even know what the fuck that means.
is literally in shambles. People don't feel it right now, but if
these people are all just stupid. Buttfucker donated $2. Remember that time you jerked off on stream? James Ass P donated $2. Can you react to this starting at 12 minutes? I think you will enjoy very much.
Массаж по меду бразильская попка делается такими же движениями.
Yeah, I remember that.
My friend says to me that we're going to go on a double date tonight.
What happened last night? I'm sure that's going to be stupid. We'll take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, buttfucker.
Language. Washington does not encourage.
Does pineapple belong on pizza? No. Why did you tell Joey Carbstrong to kill himself? Because I was mad at him.
This is political speak. What you're hearing is what the United States wants the Russians to hear. But it's not what it means. So it's important to go to the actual quote. This is U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller. And this is what he said. Our position since the beginning of this war has always been that we do not encourage or support attacks by Ukraine outside its territory. Now, people in Europe are hearing this and they're upset. This person from Germany states, the United States is simply lost. The U.S. does not support Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian refineries. Here's Gary Kasparov, his reaction to this statement. The United States confirms it doesn't want Ukraine to win. Playing only defense is hopeless. Ukraine must be able to strike the launchers of the weapons, killing its innocent civilians every day. Why is U.S. policy to limit its allies instead of deterring and defeating its enemies? Once again, go back to the statement.
Dodo donated $2. Let me see. Lev Parnas just released this video that completely destroys the entire Hunter Biden, Joe Biden bribery narrative by the GOP. In the video, Rudy Giuliani is sitting next to Lev Parnas, questioning Victor Shokin over the phone. Giuliani, was there ever any specific act that any of these people performed? Did they get a kickback? Did they get a bribe? Shokin, no.
Here's an article that supported that retarded black maggot in terms of Trump and HBCU funding. Also, I went to an HBCU as a white guy and I was able to get a job with it. How is it a scam?
The historic black colleges are just shittier universities. That's basically all they are. Trump signs bill restoring. Yeah, so I know he did this. Permanently provide more than $250 million a year. So that's not an unlimited amount of funding. But they're basically just shittier colleges. That's all they really are. Thanks for the donation, Ben.
If you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black. If you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black. If you don't vote for Biden, you ain't black. Donald Trump and Tronald Dump and Donald Trump and Tronald Dump. Daddy Donald, Daddy Donald, Daddy Donald, Daddy Donald, LLLLLLLLLLLL.
All right, well, thanks for the donation, Nigerian Burgess. Appreciate
I
it.
guess what I'm getting at is, I understand that, and I understand why that's wrong, but was there any specific act that any of these people performed? Do they get a kickback? Do they get a bribe? I guess what I'm getting at is...
Yeah. The whole Hunter Biden thing and, you know, getting bribed, and it's all bullshit. Everybody knows it is.
Have you considered taking rapamycin? Brian Johnson takes it as part of his anti-aging protocol. Seems promising, but there isn't a lot of data for humans.
I have never considered taking rapamycin. It probably does nothing, if I had to guess. So I'm not going to bother unless there's any real data on it. Thanks for the donation, Cody.
And he stated that the United States does not encourage or support. Not encouraging is not the same as discouraging. On one end, you have encouraging. On the other hand, you have discouraging. Ukraine doesn't want to or need to do. That's what Macron riled Washington with statements about sending troops to Ukraine. U.S. has warned such moves risk a clash with Moscow. Once again, because of all those nuclear weapons, the United States is always going to take the official public position of, we're not going to do that, we're not going to support that. But if the president of France wants to send French troops to Ukraine, the United States can't stop them. The United States wouldn't do anything to try and stop them. But to appease the Russians, the United States is always going to make these statements, saying, oh no, more than 1,600 European planes hit by a mysterious GPS jamming signal coming out of Kaliningrad. I don't know.
Dodo $92. Right now we need a chess player like Gary Kasparov or Magnus Carlsen to be president of the U.S. because high IQ and chess skills are necessary right now in these tense geopolitical times. Also look my other links from last dono. Oh, my bad. I don't think being good at chess means you're necessarily a good president. A lot of chess players are actually fucking retarded, and the only thing they're good at is chess, so. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Toronto to Hamilton to watch the eclipse. I can't decide if it's worth taking a day off working and transiting to Hamilton from T. for 3 minutes of darkness.
Probably not. I wouldn't bother personally. Thanks for the donation, though, Sander Blank. Burger donated $2. Let me see.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matti, and I'm from Finland. Today, in Finland, the parliament vote about the equal right for homo to marry. And there are people who say, no homo in Finland. But I say, no homo. In Finland, we homo. And even myself, I'm hetero, but I wish that in Finland, everyone can homo in marriage for free. And that's it. Goodbye.
Based.
I agree somewhat with you that it isn't the greatest in terms of education, environment, etc., but my experience I felt was good since it was cheaper, more convenient since I live about 30 minutes away, and my degree was accredited. Blame white supremacy.
I think they're kind of a waste for the most part. I don't know. They might be a net good, but I think they're kind of stupid. Thanks for that donation, Ben.
Why is Brett Cooper so hot and cute? She has a really nice bum and
pretty
thick
commonly-
legs. Also, Frank thinks liver dysfunction is the reason why alcohol decreases libido lol. It's a CNS
So,
depressant,
it's
that's
pretty-
why.
Commonly known that when you get heavily intoxicated, you may not perform well. Very simple. The liver is overwhelmed with processing alcohol so that the required mechanism for sexual activities are not working, mainly blood vessels. To simplify that even more, liver damage causes erectile dysfunction. Now, can we apply liver damage in general to impaired sexual performance? Let's see if there is any literature to back that up. 100 male subjects admitted to a de-addiction center, 72% had one or more sexual dysfunction. The amount of alcohol consumed appeared to be the most significant predictor
Yeah, no shit, because they're alcoholics.
of developing sexual dysfunction.
Frank is remarkably stupid, dude. I don't know how anybody can take that fucking idiot seriously. Thanks for that donation, Trank Fufano.
Sad to think that a guy from a shithole country like Finland has more common sense than most of the people of this supposed free country.
Yeah, really. America's pretty bad with homophobia. Took you quite a while to legalize gay marriage, and even still, it's not quite legal yet even. Thanks for that donation, Dodo.
Tony Robbins. Yeah. I mean, what a hero.
Well, I saw Tony Robbins up there.
Tony Robbins,
Yeah. I love Tony Robbins.
No, can you imagine?
Sv3rige reacts to bodybuilding motivational video.
Alright, we'll watch that later. Thanks for that donation, Matthew. Relatively retarded. Russian stadium collapse with worker on roof. Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, that seems pretty unsafe.
Brett Cooper has some dating advice.
Welcome back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. So obviously, I think we all know this, but the dating landscape right now is tough. It is barren, it is confusing, it's complicated. Women don't know what they want from men. Men are nervous to approach women. It's just a hot mess. Men and women are more divided than ever, which does not help the situation. People are also just more politically divided than ever, which makes sifting through people and their values even more difficult. It truly is a mess, and I empathize for all of you that are dealing with this. And this is why so many of my comments are people asking how they can meet friends, romantic partners who share their values, because again, it is tough out there.
If you're so obsessed with her, why don't you just ask her out?
No, I can't do that. Just another asshole customer.
And I wish that I had a more concrete answer for you guys, because I know you ask me all the time, whether it's on a live stream or my all access lives, whatever. But obviously every person, every situation is different. So I feel like I usually just tell you something wishy-washy and hope for the best. But today, guys, I think I might have some better, a little more concrete insight for you. Before we dive in though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you've not already, and then ring that notification bell so that you never miss a comment section upload. All right, so I'm sure you guys know this, but in this barren dating landscape, dating on apps is king. It almost feels second nature to people at this point. If you're not on an app, that's weirder than actually meeting somebody online, which is totally the opposite of how it was 10 years ago. And to be fair, it's normal for a reason, because it is where the majority of people have met their significant others. I mean, just look at this graph from last year. How couples meet in the US. We have through friends, woo, work, plummeting, through family, plummeting, bar, plummeting, grade school, plummeting, neighbors, plummeting, college, plummeting. But online, it is shocking how fast it has risen. And it's interesting, this graph did what other graphs have not in the past, because usually online...
How Couples Meet and Stay Together, Longitudinal Study of Social Life in the U.S. by M.J. Rosenfeld, Rubin, Thomas, blah, blah, blah. I have a hard time believing this graph because literally everything's approaching zero. Like it's almost dead zero.
It has risen. And it's interesting, this graph did what other graphs have not in the past, because usually online is on the up and up, but bars are very, very close by. But what a lot of
Avalon preaches take on self-deletion.
Let me take a look.
Okay, today's topic. This one's really
We can take a look at that. I saw a short clip of that Dr. K interview and I thought it was stupid as fuck. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for the donation, Abel.
these researchers have failed to distinguish is that people might meet in person for the first time at a bar, but they failed to mention that they actually connected for the first time on an app. So if you're very, very clear about it, if you say, did you actually interact for the first time online or at a bar, you get this result, which is glaring, but it's really not shocking at all. But just because this is the reality of our culture right now does not mean that it is right or the best option, and it certainly does not mean that this is what people want. A tweet went viral last week when this girl asked, serious question. I am totally over dating apps. All I do is exercise, work at my job, work on creative projects, drink coffee, walk my dog, garden, read books, and spend time with my girlfriends. Not a fan of bars. Not religious. How do I meet someone? And this got over 3 million impressions. There were hundreds and hundreds of comments and reposts and quote tweets. And the replies were actually very, very helpful and positive, which rarely happens on Twitter, so I was very happy to see this. And the common thread here was community. One guy said, find a community for your hobbies, i.e. a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym or a gardening club. Be very forward to guys that you are interested in. Another man said, do hobbies in places where others are. Instead of gardening alone, do it in a public patch. Instead of doing creative projects in your home, go to an open art studio. Meeting people in these places will mean that you have something in common. And plus, it's a double whammy because then you're actually learning something new or enjoying a hobby that you already love while simultaneously putting yourself while getting hurt. Yeah, relationships. But
who cares?
interesting to me. So I've been doing quite a bit of research on this topic, but recently Dr. K was on a podcast talking about this, and I wanted to discuss it with Pri.
Anytime you have a human being who is suffering in some way and they cannot find connection with another human being, they cannot find compassion with another human being, that person is going to feel isolated. And if you look at the statistics on, it's very interesting. So the number one thing that correlates with male suicide is not depression, and this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. And this, I believe the statistic in my clinical practice.
To be clear, does it mean they don't have mental illness?
Most men who commit suicide have no history of mental illness. Let me see if I can find a source for this. Neurosciencenews.com. Summary: 60% of male suicide victims have no prior history of documented mental health problems. Documented. I don't think that really means much because like mental health care is a joke at this point. Practically nobody really has access to it. And suicide is something that's kind of done spontaneously. So if you have sudden spontaneous depression, yeah, you're likely, and you kill yourself, like, yeah, it's going to show, like, it's going to reflect in the statistics.
It means that they may have never seen a shrink or psychiatrist to be documented for it.
Because I know what depression...
Cheers VG, hope you're doing well, pal. I've been a bit sick the last couple days, not COVID toe. Thanks for the stream, my G.
Well, no problem, Kenny. Glad you enjoy the streams. Thanks for the donation, dude. Hope you feel better soon.
Looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most men that I work with, they're not, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of this situation.
Yeah, so this is just so fucking stupid. No shit. I mean, why do you think people would commit suicide? This isn't groundbreaking.
So they turn to suicide. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So if we sort of look at what's going on with men, we're sort of, they have nowhere to turn to. And the number one thing that correlates with it is not mental illness, but is a sense of thwarted belongingness. So this is kind of like multivariate regression analysis. But basically what happens is what causes people to kill themselves is they try to connect with others and they get rejected. So it's specifically a very specific research term called thwarted belongingness. So I try to belong to a group, and that group or multiple...
First SJWS have tried to rewrite history, now they are trying to rewrite human evolution itself.
We often talk about human origins as the evolution of man, but what if we saw it as the evolution of woman? A new book argues for a better understanding of our beginnings with critical implications for our present. Jeffrey Brown explains, and it's for our Arts and Culture series, Canvas.
Where do we come from, and how did we evolve into the beings and bodies we are today? It's a story that continues to fascinate at the American Museum of Natural History in New York. Human origins.
Yeah, here we are.
Where Kat Bohannon first came as a child, and now with a call for a new way of looking at human development.
We have a lot of stories about the evolution of mammals. We especially have a lot of stories about the evolution of humanity and its possible past. But weirdly, in so many of these stories, the female is at best a side character. You know what I mean? But increasingly in many different disciplines, whether it's anthropology or in biology, we're putting that female back in the picture. And that actually changes how we tell that story.
Bohannon tells the story in Eve, how the female body drove 200 million years of human evolution. In fact, with personal whimsy as well as scientific data, she writes of many Eves, starting with a creature she nicknames Morgie, perhaps the first ever breastfeeder.
It's delightful that the reason someone like me might have breasts is because there is this little weaselly creature 200 million years ago living under the literal feet of dinosaurs, and she starts lactating, and that's why, right? So that's just fun.
And she gives us other Eves, who bring tools, language, and a whole lot more into the tale of the human species as a whole.
It's really rewarding to remember how deeply ancient these things are, you know, that the body is in many ways a unit of time.
Well, that sounds pretty gay. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Groups usually will thwart my attempts to join the tribe, to join the community. And this is what actually correlates a lot with suicidality. So what's going on with men right now is that we really don't allow them to suffer, you know, because then you're not manly. And we're so externalized with our attention that we're not connecting with ourselves. And so we're looking to other people to tell us what it means to be a man.
Okay. So, I thought that was really interesting, speaking on the fact that a lot of the people who are not, who are often themselves aren't mentally ill, which sounds kind of counterintuitive because most people assume if you're going that far to do something that extreme, you must have something broken in your brain. But I mean, it's actually even depression. Sometimes people think depression is always like a mental illness thing. It's not. Sometimes depression is just born out of circumstances that should make you depressed. You know, like you lose your job, you don't have a mental illness. You're depressed because your circumstances are depressing. And people can't sometimes separate those two things. They think that the symptoms that are arising from real life circumstances are always born from that. But like, no. You know, losing your girlfriend or your partner after a long time of being together and being severely depressed after that, that's not mental illness. You don't have some pathology. You have circumstances that make your life incredibly difficult. The symptoms can seem very similar.
100%.
But the pathology, like why you get there, is completely different.
There's a difference between circumstances and chemical imbalance in your brain.
Sure.
It's two different things. Yeah, definitely.
One thing that he said that I thought was interesting, he mentioned the term thwarted belongingness, and I ended up reading up on this quite a lot because I was interested in it. And I think he said something about multivariate regression, so maybe that's what he was referring to, but it's not actually just thwarted belongingness. Thwarted belongingness is the idea that you try to belong to a group or try to belong to somebody and your feelings are rejected or not reciprocated in a way. You're in a relationship with somebody and you're constantly trying to shower them with love and things like that, but it's not reciprocated. A father who tries to connect with his the mother of his child and the children and can't. They can sometimes feel a tremendous sense of thwarted belongingness because like the one thing that they really want to belong to, which is this
Thanks for the membership, April.
Family, they have a hard time connecting. But it's not just that. What ends up happening is there's like three things. There's perceived burdenness. You know when you're a burden, the idea of being perceived as a burden. Okay, that's the term. I can't say it. Burdensomeness. Okay, it's a really hard word.
Burdenness.
No, burdensomeness.
Burdensomeness. God damn.
Burden.
They just adding extra.
Burdensomeness.
Yep, you're burdensome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get
it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
This is why I don't got a degree. Anyways.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
High school dropout.
Amen.
I can read, but I can't pronounce everything.
Amen to that.
Now, this is basically the idea that you are a burden to others. For a lot of people, that can lead them to a severe depressive state where they feel like, my parents think I'm a burden because I still live at home and I don't have my degree. My partner thinks I'm a burden.
Just an FYI, and despite what you may bereave about HBCUs, President Biden's clearly the better choice in terms of supporting HBCUs than Trump. Biden was able to secure over $7 billion in funding for HBCUs, whereas Trump did ROEs raw.
Trump claimed he saved the HBCUs with $255 million in annual funding.
How's it feel to be a homeowner? Do you have to shovel snow and fix the pipes or hear creaking and wonder if it's the house settling or a ghost? You ever had to Google how to fix leaky faucet at 2 a.m.? Or play the game of is this a normal furnace sound?
No, this house doesn't creak. It's pretty new. I think it was built like just a couple years ago or something. So yeah, it's not creaking or anything, and the furnace is pretty new and everything, so haven't had to deal with any of that. Thanks for that donation, KMT. So Donald Trump grossly exaggerated his contributions to historic black colleges. Trump claimed he saved the HBCUs with $255 million in annual funding for minority-serving colleges, but in reality, HBCUs received the same funding during President Barack Obama's time in the White House. Okay. Well, that is not surprising. Thanks for sending me that, though. I'll definitely mention that if I ever get into a debate about HBCUs and fucking Donald Trump. Justin donated $2. Look at what this degenerate piece of shit rapper does for some IG clout. Apparently he kills animals for some dumbass religion. Jesus, what a fucking piece of shit. I'm assuming it's voodoo or some horse shit. Hopefully he gets his fucking head cut off. Scumbag. Thanks for that donation, dude.
I need you to bring this type of energy later when you start gaming and play like ass like you always do. You could probably start the video anywhere, but try starting the video at 3:20.
Shit, bro. I mean, fucking climb! I just broke my phone. Goddamn, fucking Steve. Fucking, what the fuck are you doing?
I think he's taking Call of Duty a little too seriously, but thanks for that donation. My name is Bitchard.
There is so much wrong with that. First of all, human evolution started 25 million years ago when the first great apes appeared on Earth, not 200. Also, female anatomy. Are you Sv3rige? I'm pretty sure our great ape ancestors had pretty alpha male type societies.
Yeah, I guess so. Thanks for that donation, Dodo.
Is I don't have a job and she makes all the money, or vice versa, or I can't give my partner any kids because I'm bare. So there's a sense of burdensome that you feel towards the other person that can put you in a severe.
So Vegan Gains thinks that if indigenous people have no other option than to eat meat, they should just starve to death. Yes. They should just kill themselves.
Depressive state. But even these two, in conjunction with each other, actually don't lead to offing yourself. It actually takes a third factor, which is probably the most important one, and this is hopelessness. When you combine those things with hopelessness, there's a huge correlating factor with that and self-deletion. So I thought it was super interesting because in thinking of some of the people that I personally know who've taken their own lives, those three, or have attempted to, those three factors were very much there. They're like, why am I even here? I'm a hindrance to others. They don't want me around, and I don't see this changing. It hasn't changed in so long. I should just off myself because it's logical. Now you watch, he's like, that's never a logical choice, but I want you to understand, you're seeing it from your perspective. I'm trying to see it from theirs. For them, it is a logical decision because they've met those three factors. They don't want me around. I am a burden to them, so I make their lives worse by being around and breathing the same air. And this isn't going to change once they meet those three factors. They decide to, no mental illness. Here's what's funny. This isn't a new thing. You know, in African folklore, they often talk.
Short break.
Let me see. Oh my god. Oh my goodness, he's helping. Oh my goodness, look at him. That's a really sweet cow. I really like cows. Thanks for that donation, Axel.
Talk about how old people, when they pass a certain age, okay, they are given their final hunting tools and sent off into the jungle to hunt one last time. And the reason why this is in folklore is because they don't want to be a burden on the younger tribe. They don't have the means to be able to provide for them, and they're no longer, they're too old, and so they're going to go hunt as a way to, you know, have some honor or whatever it is. But really what's just happening is that there's no hope for change. They are a burden to the tribe, and they're being ostracized because they're, you know, taking away from the food storage, whatever it might be. And so that's the process. And you realize this concept isn't new. This has been around for a long time, and it makes sense why in a lot of cultures where people do take their own lives, quote unquote, that these three factors are often met. But anyways, this is me just pulling from my own anecdotes and some of the stuff I've seen through history. But I thought when I read this study, it was really...
Yeah, it is. It is, but it really does happen. Being a burden to someone... Those three things that you stated is really what it is. And the state that can put you in, and this is not a promotion of self-deletion or anything like that. It's just that you have to understand, to be able to help those people, you need to be able to comprehend where they're coming from and what they're living.
Yeah.
Right. If you just say stuff like, "Nah, but it's okay. It's gonna be all right," it's without even understanding what they're feeling and where they're coming from, you're not helping. You're not helping because adding on top of the feeling of hopelessness and being a burden, now I'm just not understood. So you're just adding more. I'm gonna do what I can to.
The right. So, Tim, we're coming off of a massive fundraising haul by Joe Biden, who took in $25 million from one event in New York that was with Presidents Obama and Clinton. That was more money than Donald Trump raised in all of December and all of January combined. Biden also reportedly has more than 3 times the amount of cash on hand as Trump. We hear about this money like in a nebulous sense, but how important is it actually? How important is this money advantage that Biden has right now?
I think at this scale, it's important. You know, I am more pessimistic than your kind of average political consultant.
Congrats on the new house.
Well, thank you, April. Appreciate the donation as well. The new house is pretty dope. It's a lot bigger than our old apartment, so it's pretty sweet. Thanks again.
About how important money is. I think particularly at the presidential level, I think a lot of times there's like a law of diminishing returns on, you know, you can just see this in your own life, right? Like you see an ad, eventually it's like, how much are these ads persuading me anymore? People start to tune it out. But that said, we haven't really had a presidential campaign with.
And he shows me a picture of my girl, and it's like a white British girl. She's fairly hot. She's got like, you know, like kind of juicy lips and everything, right? So she's okay, fine. And I tell him, yeah, shoot, okay, let's do it. For some reason,
react to the Avian Destiny versus anti-vaxxer retard debate.
Wait, how can you do theirs before you've even released?
I don't know if I want to watch this. I actually saw this already. It's not particularly interesting. If there's nothing else to watch, then I can watch it. But thanks for the donation,
I didn't really want to go on this double date. I had a gut feeling that like I wasn't interested, that I wanted to cancel. I wanted to go and do something else. That was the first warning sign. But we sat there anyway in the smoking area of the bar of my hotel, and these two girls walk in. I stand up, I go, you know, I'm being polite, I go in to hug both of them, and straight away it's kind of like, again, it's like not much of a real connection there. You know, imagine if someone walks into the room, you go to hug them, and they kind of like hug you out of duty, but not because they're actually like present and focused on the situation. So that, you know, it was a little bit awkward, whatever, but they sit down, we order them drinks and stuff, and I'm kind of sat there, and I feel no substance, no like interesting conversation is about to happen. I've got my laptop with me, I've got my phone and everything, so I just start like, you know, working on that, which is very strange for me. If I ever go on a date and I'm around a woman, I'm usually very, very present and, you know, I'm focused. But I'm actually thinking like, yeah, like I don't even want to be like checked into this conversation right now. So I'm just on my phone replying to messages. I've got a message from my brother for my business. I've got this thing and this thing. I've got two friends sitting next to me and they're like making videos themselves as well. And these girls are just kind of like, you know, they're flirting with my friend a little bit, but not much. He's carrying the conversation. He's asking all the questions. The wine comes in. They've ordered some expensive thing, which goes onto my tab, but fine, you know, gentlemen will pay, right? So I paid for it all. They've got like this rosé thing. My friend orders a cigar. I don't smoke, so I'm literally just sipping some wine or something. The night starts getting really fucking weird. So there's no connection whatsoever with me and these girls right now. And so I'm literally like bored. And I've got to the point of my transformation, which I feel really proud of at this moment, that I don't need to like fake interest. I don't give a fuck about being polite to anyone. And so I'm sat there right now, literally just checked out of this conversation, just working completely, not even like looking at these girls, not even talking to them, not even asking them polite questions. Every 5 to 10 minutes, my girl, she turns to me and asks me a question, like just a boring dead question of like, so you know, how old are you? And I go, oh, I'm 26. How old are you? 22. And we'll both just kind of look at each other and just be like this a little bit. And you know, like I'm not gonna be a fucking clown and do you want to watch this fucking magic trick, or you know, to like entertain this girl. We have no connection, and that's absolutely fine. My girl just starts talking about like her life story and stuff, and she's like, oh yeah, you know, I
Why does he say my girl? That's something you'd... Like, that's how you refer to your girlfriend, but this girl isn't his girlfriend.
I traveled to Bangkok, and I was there, and I had this boyfriend, and then yeah, soon I'm gonna go to Australia with this guy. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, right? My friend goes to the toilet, and the girls start talking about what they're gonna do like after this. That's the level of these girls. They literally sat next to me right now, talking about, oh, Jason's at this party or this club. We will go there at like 11 p.m. or we'll go there tonight. Oh no, we could go to this other place tonight. Whatever. I'm not liking him, I'm not vibing it, but I'm kind of having like an okay time just being sat here and stuff. Give it like an extra hour. I'm fairly bored, but you know, I'm on my phone, I'm working, whatever. So we sat around and the girl starts complaining basically that they're hungry and that they want food and, you know, they might end up leaving. And two of my friends actually, like in quite an embarrassing way, straight away go towards them and be like, oh, but you know, there's food here, there's menu here, you can order food, just get whatever you want. And that pissed me off because this is my
Dodo Name Tellers. Frank is definitely an RFK Jr. supporter. He'd probably vote for Trump if RFK Jr. wasn't running. Watch. Let me see.
I will totally obliterate the deep state. I will fire.
Donald Trump is obsessed with the deep state.
The deep state, the deep state is destroying our nation. Either the deep state destroys America or we destroy the deep state.
And many Republicans are widening his paranoia.
These unelected bureaucrats ruining this country.
From a cabal of security agents to
the sick political class that hates our country.
If elected, Trump's vowed to gut the federal government.
Reinstate the Schedule F executive order and, quote, fire rogue bureaucrats.
But who are these bureaucrats and what makes them so dangerous? We needed answers, so we took a trip across America.
In 100 yards, take the exit.
In search of the people behind this threatening entity. First stop, Huntsville, Alabama. Sure looks like some nefarious government activity happens around here.
You have reached your destination.
Meet Scott Bellamy.
I am a mission manager in the Planetary Missions Program Office.
He drives a Nissan Titan 4x4. He's loved Star Trek since he was a kid.
Of course I have a favorite character. It's either Captain Kirk or Mr. Spock.
And he may have quite literally saved the planet from annihilation.
Potentially.
You see, Scott managed a mission called
the Double Asteroid Redirection Test.
And back in 2022, his team used your tax dollars to pull off something kind of incredible.
You have an asteroid and you have a spacecraft, and you fly the spacecraft into the asteroid and try to change the trajectory of that asteroid. It's like playing pool in space. Everybody was holding their breath. You know, this is the moment of truth. Did we hit it?
We got it? And we have impact.
They knocked an asteroid off its course, proving something that had previously only been done in movies.
Saving the world from an Armageddon scenario, potentially.
Next, we traveled deep into the swamp itself, Washington, D.C.
You have arrived.
This is Radhika Fox.
I am the Assistant Administrator for Water at the Environmental Protection Agency.
She loves Pilates.
This video is boring. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Fucking hotel, and all of this is going onto my tab. No one's asked me if I'm like okay with this, like paying for these girls' dinner. If I was like vibing with them, okay, fine, and paying.
What chair am I sitting on? I got it from Leon's. I don't think it's listed on their website. It was on sale at a pretty big discount, and I couldn't even find it on the website. It was only on the showroom floor. I think the brand was Bentley. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what model it is. It's fake leather, obviously.
For like drinks on like kind of like a romantic date, fine. But to pay for someone's fucking nutrition, like get fucked, right? Get fucked. If we're like dating and we're in a deep relationship, yeah, sure. But on a fucking first date, someone's like ordering food, that's just weird, right? But my friends are fucking saying, oh yeah, you order whatever food you want, honey, and stuff. I'm thinking like these girls don't fucking deserve a fucking dinner date or whatever, but whatever. They start ordering food. I'm a little bit pissed that my friends haven't even asked me if that's okay for it to go onto my tab. One of my friends says like, oh, don't worry, like, you know, I'll pay for it, which I know is just not the truth, unfortunately, because you know, if something's on my tab, I'm not going to go to the bar and
I'm sorry, so he went to a restaurant and intended not to order food?
And say, oh, you know, him over there, can we move this item and this item to his? I'm not going to fucking do that, right? I'm just going to pay the fucking tab at the end of the night like a gentleman. But yeah, it gets a little bit pissy, but they're both hungry, whatever, so they ordered that, and then my friend and his girl kiss a little bit, and she gets up to go to the bathroom, and he kind of like stands up knowing what the situation is and just going for the Hail Mary like risk of walking to the bathroom with her. And they're gone for a few minutes, and so I know what they're doing. They're basically fucking in the bathroom of this 5-star hotel right now, which is degenerate as fuck, but whatever. He's, you know, he's like a young guy and he's enjoying himself or whatever, right? Whilst they're away having their little love-making session in the disabled toilets of my hotel, the food arrives, and so my girl and one of my friends start eating it together. I don't want to eat. So it's like fucking, I don't get this. Like white people are like, this is like fucking 9 or 10 p.m. Why the fuck would I be eating at this time just because I'm hungry? It's like, just fucking feel the hunger and fast. Use some fucking discipline, right? So
can you imitate Hamza on a date trying out his advice on a girl?
Let me see. That might be a tough one.
So I've been doing self-improvement, right? And lately I've been trying to deepen my voice. Can you tell that I have a very masculine voice right now? Does this turn you on? I bet it turns you on quite rightly, doesn't it? How about we go into the bathroom and do something degenerate because of my deep voice?
I don't know. That's the best I got. Thanks for the donation, JP. Dodo donated $2. Let me see.
I'm in high school, and I'm about to take calculus. I went to the Bronx High School of Science. I'm confronting a calculus book. And for those of you who don't know, to go from algebra to calculus is a way bigger jump than going from arithmetic to algebra. Calculus. So I had the book, and you open it up the page, and there are all these squiggly lines and Greek letters, and it was like, I will never.
Haven't watched you in a few years. When did you get so boring? Time to just nuke the channel since it's dead. Maybe you need some animal protein to spice up your life or something. 300k subs with no growth, that's abysmal. At least your soy voice got deep.
Well, I'm still able to pay the bills, so... whatever. Thanks for the donation, Burganya.
Understand this. I remember saying that to myself. I will never, I don't even know, there's not even an equal sign. I don't know what this is. What are these squiggly lines? And it was like, all right, let me just try. So 1 week would go by, and then another week, and I'd take another peek at those pages of forms. Hey, I recognize, I know what that, well, okay, a few more weeks, hey! By the time 4 months in, all those equations, hey, not only do I know what they are, I like them and I need them to solve problems that I want to solve.
Yeah. Is the universe infinite? And if not, what's on the other side of it?
So the observable universe has a boundary, how fast light travels and how old the universe is. So that sets a horizon. A ship at sea, there's a horizon. Is the ship captain saying, is this all there is? Or does the ocean go on? And they know from their experience the ocean continues. We're pretty sure the universe goes well beyond our horizon. We don't know how far, and it's possibly infinite. And if it is infinite, then it wouldn't make sense to talk about an end.
Is the
If you had access to a fourth dimension, you could step into the fourth dimension, exit this space without opening a window or a door, and then step back into our world outside So this would be the best way to escape a prison.
Right.
Just access the fourth dimension.
Inside the walls, outside the walls. Now
Correct.
You just walk away.
Just walk away. And now think about it. Time is essentially a fourth dimension. There was a time before they put you in the cell wall, in the prison. So you just go back before you were in the prison, and then you rejoin yourself and you're not in prison.
And you're also not of the past.
You're just reoccupying that moment as the present.
moment, but as the present.
Right, but you got out of prison at that point.
Great.
Right, so it works for time as well.
They better start working on that over at Right.
President Biden and Donald Trump have very different tax plans they'd like to implement if elected for another term. Very different.
There's a $6 trillion difference, at least, between the two sides. If each were to get it,
Final elephant boss. Game over.
And a wild safari standoff caught on camera is going viral. Tourists in South Africa got more than they bargained for when an elephant attacked their safari truck, nearly flipping it over. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has more.
This terrifying moment caught on camera. Frightened tourists ducking between seats during a tense standoff between a safari driver and an angry elephant at Pilanesberg National Park in South Africa.
Get fucked.
The bull elephant lifting the vehicle several feet in the air twice before letting it drop. The driver backing up, slamming his hand against the door, trying to convince the elephant to stop.
This elephant was obviously a male, and he was challenging that vehicle. These are incredibly intelligent animals, but males like that, they're often referred to as punks. because they can show a little bit of temper, they can show a little bit of attitude, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's more bark than bite.
Eventually, there is enough distance between the animal and the vehicle, and the elephant loses interest.
Yes, we were definitely scared, especially for the people who were in the truck.
Too bad the elephant didn't kill them all. Bet none of them are vegan. Thanks for the donation, Vegan Ninja.
Own ideal policies in place.
With broad tax cuts from 2017 set to expire at the end of next year, Biden and Trump are headed in opposite directions.
A fair tax code is how we invest things to make this country great.
And we will cut your taxes even further. That's what built our economy.
Here's what's in that $6 trillion chasm and the difficulties with turning those plans into law.
This is the bill right here, and we're very proud of it.
In December 2017, Trump signed into law the most far-reaching overhaul of the U.S. tax system in decades.
Sid Donate Tellers, why do you watch so much Neil deGrasse Tyson? Is he your father or something? It's because Dodo keeps sending me clips. That is why. Thanks for the donation, though, Sid.
Entazerin haim tabligo, ye najdam, yila shakkardam nakonjem tvast. Mamnun vali aslan asbane mai boliobanafsh, karbadi barbari yekbishtari, migayataze akari sam. Nistvana budravain damami koshtso degan javid, varmis havid has rot.
Alright, well, I don't speak Spanish, but thanks for the donation, Mandalam.
Legislation included lower individual tax rates ending before January 1st, 2026, with a maximum rate of 37%, down from the previous 39.6%. Standard deduction increased. Child tax credit doubled. And the corporate tax rate was permanently slashed to 21%, its lowest point since 1939.
The goal was to try to spur investment, to give businesses more deductions, lower rates, lower taxes on their profits so they'd be more incentivized to make profits, to give people more money in their pockets so they would spend more money.
But the sweeping cuts also drew criticism.
The president is part of the top 1%, and the bill is aimed to help the top 1%.
If Congress does nothing, those individual tax cuts will expire at the end of 2025. And the government estimates that the national revenue would follow this line. Neither Biden nor Trump wants that to happen. Trump's plan would bring in less money than the revenue baseline. Biden's plan would collect more. The two agree on extending tax cuts for households that make under $400,000 a year. But there is a major difference in how they would tax big corporations and people at the highest income levels.
I will make the Trump tax cuts permanent. You know, they expire in a year. And we will cut your taxes even more than that.
Trump's approach to taxes is to try to lower them. Trump and Republicans really believe that low tax rates
higher deficit
are incredibly important for the economy.
Extending those tax cuts would cost the government up to $4 trillion over the next decade. For example, keeping the reduced rates and wider tax brackets for ordinary income.
So looking forward to when I'll be filing my taxes for 2025 BC Trump policy.
Well, up 2025 promises to be an historic year in tax and budget policy now that Congress has passed the Fiscal Responsibility Act. It isn't too soon to start thinking about the mess lawmakers have created for themselves in 2025. The law grants short-term reprieve from Congress's self-made debt limit crisis. Well, hopefully Trump doesn't get into office, but thanks for the donation, Ben.
Would cost some $2 trillion, and the expanded standard deduction would reduce federal revenue by over $900 billion.
There's been some back and forth among Republicans about exactly how comfortable they are with further increases in the deficit because of tax cuts. In the 2017 law, not everyone got a tax cut. There were things that raised money to help offset the changes they made. But in general, they weren't trying to keep things deficit neutral. They were willing to increase deficits in order to cut taxes. And that's a choice they'll have to make again.
On the other side of the divide, Biden wants not only to pay for the rate cuts he'd like to keep, but also bring in additional revenue. Getting that done would not be easy.
He wants to extend the tax cuts for people making under $400,000. So it's a couple $1 trillion, not the full $4 trillion, but a good chunk of that to keep those tax cuts going for most people.
Beyond that, Biden says he'll increase taxes in other areas to bring in more money for the government.
If you want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes.
Fairness is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to taxes. His idea is basically that high-income people and corporations should pay more, and that money should go largely for new programs and for reducing deficit.
Biden hasn't laid out exactly where all of this money would come from, but he has outlined what would be some key revenue sources, including raising the corporate tax from 21% to 28%. The Treasury estimates that alone would garner some $1.3 trillion for the government over 10 years.
I don't know why the fucking corporate tax rate is that low to begin with. That's insane.
He has also proposed taxes on individuals at the top, like an increased Medicare tax, revamping capital income taxes, and imposing a 25% minimum tax on the super rich. That set of changes would raise more than $1.8 trillion. Overall, Biden wants to cover the $4 trillion for continued tax cuts and raise taxes by more than $2 trillion on top of that. But there's a catch.
A lot of the tax increases that Biden is running on are ones that he ran on in 2020 or has proposed during his first term. Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House for 2021 and 2022, and very few of the tax increases they wanted got through. As we think about the $6 trillion or more gap between the two candidates, so much really depends on the results of the election.
Democrats and Republicans both want to extend tax cuts for the majority of Americans, but even getting that done will be messy.
There's likely to be one big tax bill in 2025. And so even if there's a point of agreement on what happens for the bulk of people, the revenue consequences, the distributional consequences, the political consequences are all tied to what happens to corporations and high-income people. People making under $400,000 should feel somewhat confident that their tax cuts will get extended because both parties want to do it, but it will be just inextricably linked to what happens broadly with all the pieces of the tax cuts that
Biden's tax policy seems to make way more fucking sense.
Even though there's like nice food there, there's like chicken strips and like calamari or whatever the fuck, like kind of like fancy 5-star restaurant food, right? And there's loads of it, there's fries, whatever. One of my friends, and it was supposed to be my girl, but I'm not really vibing with her, it's fine. They start eating it and they're talking and whatever, they're getting along and it's actually kind of sweet, right? I'm actually getting so bored that at this point, I go on my phone, go onto WhatsApp and call a girl that I just recently been on a date with. She's from Ukraine. She's a little bit older than me. She's really lovely, like sophisticated, classy girl. So I call her, I just randomly WhatsApp her and she picks up while she's like in bed in like a sort of nightgown and she's like, what? Like, why are you calling me? And I say to her, like, what are you doing? Come meet me right now. It's like 9:15 p.m. at this point. And she says, wait, now? Are you crazy?
Oh, wow. That's like most people's bedtime.
It's bedtime, she's about to go to bed. I didn't give her any notice before this. And I said, no, like, I want to see you. Come over. I'm in the bar of my thing. We'll get a drink. Come right now. And she's like, and I can see her debating it, but I'm speaking in like a proper, like, masculine commanding voice. I'll tell her, yeah, like, get ready. Put on a dress. Come right now. And I say, okay, how long would you need? And she says, like, oh, like, 10 p.m. So 45 minutes, right? So that's already like booked. Okay, sweet. She says that she's going to come. I'm actually quite excited now. Now I'm like, actually, like, kind of happy to be here because I'm going to have a girl that I kind of vibe with compared to these girls here. My friend and his girl walk in. My friend comes straight back to me, whispers in my ear, oh yeah, I just fucked her in the bathroom. Okay, nice. His girl walks in and it's all different now. She walks in and any level of like politeness or kind of game that she had to be, nice is just fucking gone. She's just been fucked in the bathrooms. She said she was hungry like 45 minutes ago. The food came. The food was eaten. by her friend and my friend. And this Western, like, British girl comes in after she's probably got, like, fucking semen inside of her, sees that the food's been eaten, and she goes into a fully rotten mood, where literally now she's actually being loud, and she's saying, like, wait, what have you guys ate all the food? You've ate all of it? You've, like, she's, like, almost shouting at her friend, you've ate all of it. You know, they're kind of embarrassed at the table. She's like, no, but yeah, I wanted chips. I'm so hungry. No, I'm so hungry. The guy who's eating the food, he's like, oh, but you can just order more, which again pisses me off, because they're literally saying, like, oh, don't worry, Hamza will pay for more nutrition for you, even though he doesn't like you. You just order more. And she's like, no, I don't want to order more. I wanted it now. You know, it's going to take too long. I'm hungry now. I want it. Even the chips are all gone. Even the chips are all gone. She keeps saying it like that, bro. It's like just fucking classless, right? So there's drama happening. My girl walks in. She's looking stunning. It took her only 45 minutes to go from just getting ready in bed, like she was lying down in bed, to wearing like a beautiful red dress and heels with makeup and everything, and also to travel to the hotel. I, you know, stand up, hug her and stuff, bring her over to this fucking situation, basically. Order like wine for her and stuff, and we're sat, and she's like, you know, instantly just so present, and she's so nice next to me and everything. She's classy. Here's this, like, basically this cute, sexy Ukrainian girl who sat in a dress and heels sipping wine, whilst these two British girls who wore fucking hoodies like this, hoodies to a 5-star restaurant, are fucking yapping on about the food's all gone, let's order more, let's do this. I'm not liking them like one bit. I'm realizing how fucking trashy these girls are, that I just don't vibe with them at all. And when my girl did come in, I noticed that they started being like a lot more fucking rude, and they were almost like insinuating, like, and what is this? Like, you know, like the girl who got fucked, she starts almost talking about me whilst I'm there, saying like, oh, what is this? What's happening over there? Like talking about me and my girl here. And so she's getting loud. I'm hungry. I want chips. She's pointing at a friend. You ate them all. She's pointing at my friend, and oh, you ate them all and stuff. And it's getting, like, honestly, so fucking dramatic, and just on it for me, like, just ugly. Like, it's just so ugly to be around that sort of like angry British girl energy where she's complaining about the chips are all gone. When we're in a 5-star hotel, I've got like a classy, sophisticated lady sipping wine here. So I just stand up, stick my hand out like this to my girl, stand her up, and walk inside to the other part of the bar, like we're gonna just go sit in private, because I'm not dealing with this. I didn't even say goodbye to anyone. I'm actually getting a little bit pissed, thinking like, these people here represent me, and it's just fucking low class. It's just fucking trashy. It's just chavvy. I'm not, like, I already made a video about that I hate Western women, and obviously I don't hate Western women, but you can see the quality difference on average, or at least that's my, you know, recent bias experience, whatever. But I sit inside, I'm having like a really amazing time with my girl. We end up drinking a little bit there, and then we, like, I leave the situation. I don't want to be here. That they're all arguing and stuff, and it seems like get fairly dramatic. Like, the two British girls comes in, they want to order food, they start shouting at the bar with my friend, and my friend's, you know, got the menu, and he's showing them everything, which again is pissing me off. None of these fuckers, like, even I'm talking about my friends, none of these fucking friends even said to me once, like, oh, do you mind that we're racking up a few hundred fucking pounds on your tab? And it's not really about the money, truthfully. Like, I make a lot of fucking money, so me spending 200, 500 pounds on like a night with, you know, 5 guys and stuff, it's not that bad for me, because after like drama's been, it's a sad fuck on my voice.
Oh my god, dude. Why does he upload this? Who watches this shit? Unironically. The only path to utility is why they do that. Let me see. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my goodness, so fuzzy. I don't know why they move their lips up like that, but that is cute. Oh my god. Oh. Maybe they just do that when they're smelling stuff. It's a nice deer. Oh my goodness. Wow. That's a very nice caribou.
Wrecked stupid mountain lioness.
Give me 1 minute. Oh my god. That's a raccoon dog. That's amazing. Raccoon dogs are so cute. Oh my god, look at his tummy. That's amazing. Let me see, Axel. poor little whatever the hell that is. I don't know what animal that is. Oh. It's too bad you can't just capture all those mountain lions and feed them vegan cat food. Thanks for that donation, Axel. What do you think of this as backup camera? It's not good.
Point and shoot camera of all time. This is the Sony RX100 Mark VII, and this camera has so many great things going for it. You get 4K video up to 30 frames per second, as well as 1080.
Yeah, so if you're shooting video on these, they overheat very easily. And the picture quality is pretty mid. It doesn't have the nice kind of sensors that the like 6000 or A7 series cameras have, so yeah, they're just not that great.
Made options.
I think Frank Tefano shoots with an RX100. I'm pretty sure he uses that camera, and it's not very good.
The Sony RX.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm just not impressed with the quality of the footage. It's pretty mid. Like, there are literally cell phones now that have better picture quality, or at least approaching, like, in that ballpark, so it's like, eh. Like, if you have a good cell phone, you might as well just use that. I don't really like the RX100. Thanks for the donation, though, the only path.
As requested, I'm going to review a popular bodybuilding motivation video.
I walked into Metroflex gym. I didn't know what to expect, man. I remember we pulled up in front of the parking lot.
Dodo Donatellers, Hamza is literally the trashy, gossipy, overdramatic girls that he talks about. He literally is. All he does is ramble about boring drama and overblown little incidents that transpire and talk about it for hours, but the very thing he complains about women doing. Yeah, dude, like, he literally just made a fucking, like, 30-minute video complaining that he went on a date where he met a girl he didn't like. Like, holy fuck, dude, who cares? And then he, like, complains about women being, like, bratty and ratchety and annoying and shit. Thanks for the donation, though, man.
The music thumping out in the parking lot, it was so loud.
That's Ronnie Coleman. He's actually in a wheelchair now. He's disabled. All of these people who go to the gym there are disabled, but he's severely.
How are you feeling? Does our two-legged Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion stand-in have new vids?
I'm feeling kinda... There's just been some things annoying me lately. Friend of ours had to put down her dog because it went insane and started killing other dogs, so that was kind of messed up. But let me see if Frank has any new vids. No new actual videos. We already watched that one.
And one of my viewers brought something up which I never really thought about. You know, when people aren't driving, when there's not that much activity, you know, like 3, 4, 5 in the morning, is when there's gonna be the least amount of pollution in the air. So if you can time it, you know, before people start that morning rush hour commute, you know, 4 in the morning-ish, and open your window then for an hour, kind of air your house out, let that quality air come in, that's really the best thing you can do. Most people might not have to do that. You know, just opening the window is already going to significantly increase the air quality, but there are times of the day where there is much less pollution than other portions of the day. And one of my viewers brought something up which I never really thought about. You know, when people aren't driving, when there's not that much activity, you know, like 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
Killed 2 dogs. The first time it killed another dog, the assumption was it was because of food. Like, food was out for it, and then some other dog came up near its food, and then she ripped apart another dog, and then they thought it's because of food guarding. But then just the other day, she ripped apart another dog, a little Chihuahua, for no reason. So yeah, they put it to sleep.
Is when there's going to be the least amount of pollution in the air. So if you can time it, you know, before people start that morning rush hour commute, you know, 4 in the morning-ish, and one of
Yes, set your alarm clock and get up in the middle of the night to open the window and then go back to bed.
I have a few new things I've been incorporating into my diet from the grocery store. So I figured I would show you. Now I was having some pretty bad luck with the apples that I normally get. And I figured, well, hey, they have to have some organic canned fruit, right? And I did find some. The downside of this is obviously that it's in a can, you know, aluminum, pollutants, that type of stuff. So it's not something you'd really want to eat every day or at least throughout the year. Like maybe in the winter months, you can have this until the fruit comes back in season. That's what I would use this for. These are a pretty safe backup plan. It's nice to have a few of these in your pantry. I have a few new things I've been incorporating into my diet from the
You can get apples all year round. Why? Okay. That's weird. The only path to only tellers missed the last link on the last dono. Also, this vid relax. Okay, sorry, dude. Didn't know. My bad. Didn't realize I missed it. That's pretty good.
How many dogs do your friends parent?
I think it was 3 or 4. I think they had 3 or 4 dogs, and then their one dog killed that Chihuahua, another one, which was another one of their dogs. So they put it to sleep. So now I think they only have 1 or 2 dogs now. So it's pretty sad. Thanks for the donation, Sam. Dodo donated $2. Kind of long, but interesting if you want to watch. The world's first cyber weapon attack on a nuclear plant. I might watch that. Yeah, there's a pretty boring stream. Nothing much going on, so we might watch it. Thanks, Dodo. Mr. Codename Mike donated $2. Why was this the first thing I see when I open Insta? Fucked. Oh, Mel time?
Why did I say this?
Mel time. It's Mel time.
Oh, she got the
form.
Okay, so we're just doing salsa. We're just going. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Is that okay?
That's good.
There you go. Hey. Okay, it kind of works. Yeah.
Mel time.
Watch this, Lise. You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now.
That's good. Oh, that's still getting memed on.
A nice place for my little squirrel to live. In the last show, we showed you a little squirrel that we called Peapod the Pocket Squirrel. And we've had so many people write and call about him. I want to show him again. Maybe.
That vid of that person trying to cover his farts by coughing reminded me of these lol.
What the hell is his problem?
I don't know. He's acting worse than you did when you tried to cover your farts by coughing.
Okay, welcome to the PTA meeting. On the subject of school lunches, I know there's been some concern about nutrition. We've had complaints about the soda machines. And I have spoken with the school board. Is there something you'd like to say, Mr. Griffin?
My mom is Dominican Cuban, my dad is from Chile and PR, which means I'm Chile Dominican, but I always say I'm from Queens.
Yeah, that is easier to explain. Thanks for the donation, Tommy Kunwar.
No. No, I'm good.
Family Guy was funny at one point.
Batman/Punisher AI debate about ethics. Only 4 minutes long. Can we watch?
Sure, we can watch. Just give me a minute. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
Don't try to take this away from me. This is the only thing I've ever been good at. Well, this and timing my farts to a thunderstorm.
Why don't we all go ahead and turn to page 6 in the handout. The first thing you're going to notice is a bar graph. And what that is to indicate our international sales, which peaked, of course, during the last quarter. But now we're expecting that to drop off as we enter the colder weather.
The storm's moving away.
Let's see. There's a lot of people think the answer to the Fermi paradox is either that they're intelligent aliens purposely avoiding being detected or being noticed, or they haven't achieved interstellar travel. I think that we just don't have the telescopes or technology capable of finding. Yeah, I mean, the universe is also incredibly ridiculously vast, too, so even if there was an alien race capable of interstellar travel, like, I mean, it's possible that they either don't know of us or they don't have an interest in visiting or something just because of the, amount of time it would take for them to travel here. Could be a number of reasons. Thanks for that donation, Dodo. Dodo finding evidence of activity of intelligent life like asteroid mining or star harvesting or whatever with current telescopes would be like trying to locate a penny floating in the Pacific Ocean somewhere. We simply wouldn't see it. That's why we haven't seen. It's possible. With how vast the universe is, I'd be very surprised if there wasn't intelligent life somewhere. It is quite possible that there aren't any advanced species that have the capability of interstellar travel. Like, I think that is possible. Thanks again, Dodo.
We can.
Let me see. Why is it fucking doing this all of a sudden? It's super annoying.
Frank, we've both dedicated our lives to fighting crime, but our methods couldn't be more different. I believe in justice, in bringing criminals to the law, not becoming judge, jury, and executioner.
Bruce, the law is slow, corrupt, and full of holes. I've seen it fail too many times. My way ensures that these criminals can't hurt anyone ever again. It's efficient, it's final.
But where do you draw the line? Today it's a murderer. Tomorrow it could be someone who simply crossed you. We can't allow personal vendettas to dictate justice. If we kill, we become just like them. We have to be better.
And what about the ones that keep coming back? The jokers, the crime lords, the psychopaths. How many more have to suffer because you won't cross that line? My war ends problems permanently.
It's not about not crossing a line. It's about holding on to our humanity. If I allow myself to kill, even once, I become something else. I don't wear this mask to instill fear in just the criminals, but to remind myself of who I am and what I stand for.
And you think I've lost my humanity? I made a choice, Bruce.
Did you watch any of the bridge collapse videos?
Yeah, I did. I saw the bridge collapse. It's pretty crazy. Apparently they've already found 2 bodies. Thanks for the donation, Sam.
Bruce, the day my family was taken from me. The system you protect failed me, and I swore no one else would suffer that fate because of inaction. My war is ugly, but it's clear. Can you say the same about yours?
We've both seen darkness.
It's going to be a sunny day and Grandma Richards will be outside her retirement home to water the plants. She will take a deep breath and say, I hope Richard will call. I will pull out my pistol and say goodnight Grandma Richards and pull the trigger.
Alright, well, good luck with that, Lionel. Appreciate the donation. My grandmother's actually not in a retirement home. She actually just found out that she has a broken back. She doesn't know how that happened, but apparently she has, whatchamacall, the dumb old lady disease, makes your bones brittle, osteoporosis. I've told her for a while she should lift weights, but, you know. Dodo donated $2 to elaborate on earlier Dono's claim. There's strong evidence to suggest rapamycin increases lifespan, at least in mice, significantly. Well, it's mice, so there's a lot of things that will increase the life expectancy of mice, but it doesn't do that in people. Time-restricted feeding and prolonged fasting extends life expectancy in mice, but it doesn't seem to do that in human beings. So, yeah, I'd have to see the data on human beings for me to bother taking it. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
I want to get into motorcycling. I live in a big city, and I like the size and style of that V-Strom you've got. When did you start riding and how difficult was it to learn? And what are some good beginner bikes in your opinion? Thanks.
So, riding a motorcycle is pretty easy. You do have to, if you're getting a gas bike anyway, you do have to get used to using a clutch. And if you're not used to using, like a manual transmission, you don't want to get a big bike like a V-Strom for your first bike, because you're going to fall a lot if you're not used to using a clutch. So, yeah, I'd recommend getting a smaller displacement motorcycle. There's a lot of, like, pretty decent beginner bikes that you could get. I would recommend, if you're just going to get into motorcycling, look at Royal Enfield. The Royal Enfield 350s are good. So they're small displacement, they're very light, and they're very cheap. They're only 5,000 Canadian. I'd imagine if, like, in USD, they've got to be around 3,500. So, and that's brand new. So if you're not sure if you really want to ride a motorcycle or get into it, and you just want to learn, these are extremely good bikes. They're pretty reliable. They have enough power to, like, go on the highway if you really need to. They're air cooled, so they're extremely easy to work on. And they look nice and they sound nice. I rode one of these. My local dealer who sold me the Ural, they have had these in stock, and he let me test ride one. They're really nice and they sound nice and they look cool. So this is a good beginner bike if you just need to learn how to ride and you don't want to commit to, you know, spending like around 15 grand on a brand new motorcycle or anything. Other than that, if you want something more powerful, Sv3rige is a really good bike. They're also relatively inexpensive, and they've got a lot of power. They're 75 horsepower, but they're pretty light. So they're very fast, very zippy bikes. And again, brand new, they're pretty inexpensive. So I think they're like 10,000 Canadian, brand new, and they're a really good, reliable bike. If you want something smaller displacement, the KTM 390 Duke. That's a good bike. Again, fairly reliable, even though it's a European make. And they look cool. They're very small, though, so if you're a tall person, you wouldn't want to ride something like this. But those are some good options for you. But yeah, if you want to get into motorcycling, I wouldn't recommend something like a V-Strom as a first bike because you're probably going to fall a lot. I was teaching Ask Yourself how to ride a motorcycle, and I let him ride my V-Strom, and he crashed. He fell pretty hard. He didn't hit a wall or anything, but he tipped over. He wasn't able to balance the bike. But it's easy. You just spend like an afternoon, and then you'll learn how to use a clutch. It's pretty easy. But yeah, I'd recommend getting something with at least like 400 cc's of displacement generally. But if you want something very cheap to start out on, the Royal Enfields are good. But 390 Duke, Ninja 400, SV650, those are all good, bikes to start out with. Hope that helps. Thanks for the donation, Depressed Vegan.
Is your grandmother vegan?
No, she is not. Despite eating meat and consuming dairy regularly, she has osteoporosis and she is not vegan. Thanks for the donation, Sam.
But I've learned that it's in that very darkness that we must find the strength to seek the light. If we succumb to the abyss, we lose not just ourselves, but the very essence of what we're fighting for.
Your idealism is admirable, but it's not realism. The world we live in.
Check your microphone. I don't think my microphone settings changed. Yeah, no.
The streets I walk, they're not bound by the moral codes you cling to. They're wild, chaotic, unforgiving. I didn't choose this war, but I intend to finish it.
But at what cost? How many lines are you willing to cross before there's nothing left of the man you were, the man your family loved?
You talk about lines, but I don't think you even know where yours begins and ends. You're okay with crippling petty criminals for life, but when it comes to killing a psychopathic clown, that's a no-no, huh? When you're looking into the eyes of someone who's taken innocent lives, the choices you have to make, they change you. My family's not coming back, but I can prevent others from feeling this pain.
I've stared into that abyss too, Frank. I've felt its pull. It's why I train, why I keep allies close, why I have rules. Because the moment I give in, even once, I become the very thing I've vowed to fight against. Gotham, this world needs a symbol of hope, of restraint, of a justice that's pure and not tainted by personal vengeance.
Hope, restraint, those are luxuries, Bruce.
The whole idea of Batman not killing is so fucking stupid to me. Like, Batman has, like, ridiculous strength. In the comics, it's canon. He can bench press 800 pounds. He's a master martial artist. Like, the idea that this guy could punch somebody in the head and not kill them is just retarded. Like, dumbasses who just get drunk and have, like, some sort of, like, dumb drunk bar fight, who aren't in shape, don't do boxing, like, some guy just hits somebody the wrong way, they fall down, they die. You're telling me Batman can fight hundreds and hundreds of fucking criminals, like, beating them within an inch of their life and, like, not kill any of them just by accident? Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, Batman could hit somebody in the head, they can fall on the ground, like, become severely concussed, and then, like, a week later they could die in a hospital. Like, the idea that this guy would have, like, this no-killing policy when he probably has killed somebody is so stupid. And if he's so against killing, why the fuck wouldn't he kill the Joker? The Joker has killed I don't know how many thousands of fucking people. He keeps getting out, he keeps escaping, and then he hasn't figured out, oh, okay, I should just kill this person. The quality of the Joker's life is like non-existent. He is like a miserable psychotic fuck. He murders innocent fucking people for the fun of it. Why would Batman have any interest in keeping this person alive? It's fucking retarded. So, like, yeah, Frank Castle is a much more sensible person than Batman. Like, why in the fuck would a superhero have any interest in keeping a supervillain that dangerous alive? It is so dumb.
Luxuries the real world can't afford. You think your rules make you strong, but they make you predictable. They hold you back. Joker kills because he knows that he'll face no consequences besides a little prison time. Perhaps killing is objectively bad, but I can promise that your method doesn't result in the greater good.
And you believe becoming a mirror image of those we fight against is the answer. There's strength in restraint. There's power in standing up and saying, this is where I draw the line, and I will not cross it. It's not about predictability, it's about integrity, about being the symbol this city, this world needs.
We're not so different, you and I. We both want to make the world a safer place. We just have different ways of going about it. I don't enjoy taking lives, Bruce, but I've seen too much. Lost too much to believe there's any other way. My war is messy. It's brutal, but it's also honest.
Our war is never over, Frank, and maybe that's the point. We fight so that others don't have to. We sacrifice so that others won't suffer our fate. And if there's even a glimmer of hope that my way, our way, can make a difference, then it's a path worth taking. No matter how long, no matter how arduous. Perhaps one day you'll see that there's another way, Frank.
And maybe you'll see that some wars can't.
What kind of pet insurance do I have? Jasmine's the one who set it up, but it covers, it can technically cover anything, but there's a deductible, so you usually don't use the pet insurance unless it's something expensive. So if like one of our dogs has to have a surgery, it would be covered. It would be covered. Let me see. What was the guy? There was a really funny... There's a really funny Punisher comic.
Comic trope.
Introduce him to you again in case you missed him last time.
Oh my God.
Now, we called him a pocket squirrel because he would absolutely, I think, live in my pocket continually. There he is. Isn't he the sweetest little thing? He's just a little baby gray squirrel. And he climbs down in my pocket at home and rides around there all day.
Oh my God.
And sometimes he even falls asleep in the old pocket, and he'll stay there for hours and hours if I allow him to. There. I'm just making some little evergreens while you watch it. See, now when he climbs down the pocket, that's what he looks like when he's asleep.
Oh my God.
I want you to see what he looks like up close. Isn't he something? Of course, he's got huge foots for his size.
I didn't know Bob Ross was such an animal lover.
But, you know, all this regular problems with the rest of us. I want to show him to you. This is my little friend Hoot. And Hoot's a little baby owl, and he is a character.
Oh my goodness.
And as you can see, Hoot and I have the same hairdresser. Boy, that son of a gun's got a hair that looks just like mine. And he's just, he's about 2 weeks old now. And this is his first time in front of a camera, so he's a little nervous. But I borrowed him
Baby
from the bird
owls
lady
are
so I
so
could show you. That's
cute.
And it had been orphaned. And Diana has raised this little deer.
Wow.
And today it's been set free, and he really is doing fantastic. But I had such a good time with this little fella. I spent have him bring up a little raccoon here that I played with. This came from one of our rehab ladies. We're close to where I live, named Carmen Shaw. And he lives with me. I'm taking care of him till he gets a little bit better and he can fly away. Until he was a big bird. And Diane and I let him go close to her house.
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't know Bob Ross was a big animal lover.
Tropes War Journal. Blackface, a form of predominantly non-white people dressing up as an exaggerated version of a black person. It was popular in minstrel shows in the 19th century and continued through the 1940s as a popular form of entertainment. Over the next 2 decades, it hung around a bit, but it was generally looked at as campy and eventually racist. Nevertheless, in 1986, C. Thomas Howell starred as a white guy pretending to be black to get a Harvard scholarship in the movie Soul Man. Arguably, the message was on point, but the details sank it. It was criticized for making it look like there weren't enough actual black applicants for the scholarship, and the jokes were sitcom-level obvious stuff. It bombed. So you'd think that 5 years later, Marvel Comics would have known better. They didn't. How does this relate to the Punisher? Well, originally he was created as an anti-hero to contrast with Spider-Man and Daredevil, but his popularity began to soar in the 80s, the age of movie heroes like Schwarzenegger and Stallone. He had a successful miniseries and then an ongoing series, but the Punisher has always been a bit one-note. He's a vigilante that goes around killing gangsters and drug pushers. When he got his ongoing series, writer Mike Baron worked to expand his character a bit by giving him a sidekick, Microchip, and having his targets expand to terrorists and flag burners. But the core problem might be that few writers try to dig into the Punisher himself as a character, instead creating interesting villains for him to pursue. Problem there is he usually kills his opponents, so very few come back. Some writers will try thinking outside the box. Garth Ennis added black humor, Rick Remender turned him into a Frankenstein-esque monster, and Tom Sniegowski and Christopher Golden teamed up to turn him into a demon-hunting angel. So some of the ideas aren't as good as others.
I'm a queer.
All right, well, that's good. Congratulations. Thanks for that donation, Going Anders.
We're going to take a look at the time Marvel turned Punisher black. So welcome to Comic Tropes. I'm your host, Chris, although today I'm going to be the Punisher. Alright, if you're still with me, then you're interested. Thank you. Here's a little bit of background to completely understand this story. Mike Baron wrote the Punisher ongoing series from issue 1 all the way to 59. Now, issue 59 was the 7th part of an ongoing story called Punisher: The Final Days. That implies to me that he was very much intending this to be his last arc, but that's just a guess. In issue 56, Jigsaw organizes a bunch of prisoners. They hold down the Punisher, and Jigsaw carves up Punisher's face to get revenge for what Punisher had previously done to Jigsaw's face. As Jigsaw carves up Punisher's face, he says, "We'll cut it to the bone, Frank. Ain't no rev to fix you up this time." Yeah, this is the second time Mike Baron has had Jigsaw carve up the Punisher's face. Back in issue 38, Frank Castle, the Punisher, went on a mission down to South America to find this satanic reverend called the Rev. Very creative. So anyway, the Rev literally summoned Lucifer and had satanic powers. Jigsaw had carved up Punisher's face, but Punisher forced the Rev to heal him. So that's how he got better the first time. Now we're going back to issue 59. The Punisher has had his face carved up. Fortunately, he uses that to disguise himself as another prisoner and escapes from prison. And then we pick up with how he gets better this time. Punisher's sidekick Micro has introduced Punisher to a doctor named Melinda Brewer. Although at this point in time, she's a disgraced doctor who has lost her license and has become a hooker. A hooker doctor, does that make her a f***ing know-it-all? Melinda explains to the Punisher that she basically got addicted to uppers and downers while she was doing her residency, and eventually that led to heroin, which led to hooking. She is now going to try to fix up Frank's face, and he demands that all she do is change his appearance. 5 days later, he wakes up, she takes off the bandages and shows him the results. Well, you said you didn't want anyone to recognize you. Here's what the drug-addicted surgeon did for Punisher, and here's what happened in real life when a white woman had surgery to turn herself black. That's a lot more realistic. I think that's what Punisher would look like. Literally all of this. She's a drug-addicted surgeon. She would turn...
I love Punisher. He's friends with Spider-Man, Daredevil, the Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Cyclops, Iron Man, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Kingpin, Green Goblin, the Hobgoblin, Batman, Superman, Robin, Joker, Wonder Woman, Cheetah, Thanos, Black Panther, Two-Face.
I don't know if he's friends with any of them, especially the people that he couldn't possibly know, like from the DC universe, but thanks for that donation, Richie.
Turn him into this. Even though the Punisher's appearance is now completely different, he also decides to leave New York and head for Chicago. He says to himself on the drive that he hasn't been there in years, but he still has a safe stash in the basement of the Royal Tuck Hotel. If anything, the Punisher is always prepared. He has safe houses everywhere with lots of guns. That's his superpower, is he shoots guns. The Punisher not so wisely decides to drive all the way to Chicago without a break. He gets a little tired, swerves slightly, and is surrounded by no less than 4 state troopers' cars. Apparently these Chicago police officers are hillbillies because one lets loose the racist comment, "Maybe the coon's got his tongue." Punisher loses his temper and starts fighting back. He's massively outnumbered when all of a sudden Luke Cage drives up. Getting pulled over by racist cops on your first day being black? Bad luck. Luke Cage showing up in a different city to help you? Good luck. The Punisher fights back and literally kicks one of these racists off the overpass. It's stuff like this that sometimes makes it hard to stay on the Punisher's side. Don't get me wrong, I want to see these racist cops get their comeuppance. Do I want to see one of them murdered over it? That's a little extreme. Luke Cage's super strength and bulletproof skin is more than enough to take care of the cops, and the two drive away in one of the police officers' cars. The next panel is a little confusing. We see the same car illustration, although it's now painted all green as though it's supposed to be a different car, and the dialogue implies that it's a different car as well. Luke Cage says, "Money? You better hope they don't bust this ride. It's a rental." It very clearly has the police cruiser's lights on top. I guess the artist and the writer were on very different pages. Punisher asks Cage what his job is, and he explains that he's a hero for hire, freelance, only it ain't free. And then Punisher faces...
Right Knight donated $2. What would be your favorite carnivorous animal, regardless on your perspective on them? I guess cats. You know? Like, house cats. I like, cats. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
Luke Cage brings him to his home and says 16 hours later, "What's your name, homie?" Frank Rook. The replacement writer on this, Marcus McLaurin, gives Cage a slang word in almost...
And don't forget Hawkman, Tombstone, Rhino, Black Adam, Mephisto, Wolverine, Deadpool, Black Cat, Dr. Octopus, Venom, Carnage, Luke Cage, Harley Quinn, the Penguin, Captain Marvel, Commissioner Gordon, Batgirl, Supergirl, Bullseye, General Zod, Godzilla.
A lot of those aren't Marvel, especially Godzilla. Thanks for the donation though, Richie.
Every speech bubble. It gets a bit obnoxious, but I also really enjoy that Punisher's super stealthy pseudonym is...
Ideally, if you were to rescue and adopt a bear cub, how and what would you feed them? Bears have always been my favorite animals.
I'd probably just feed them vegan dog food. Yeah, I think that's what I'd feed them. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
Isn't Frank Castle, it's Frank Rook. Good thinking, buddy. Punisher wakes up and says, "Wait a minute, you're Power Man, aren't you?" "Never heard of him. The name is Cage. Now you gotta..." "Yeah, you were wanted in New York. Only one cat I ever heard of could bounce bullets off his skin." Really, Punisher? Luke Cage is the only bulletproof guy you've ever heard of. Cage fesses up that the charges were dropped and he also changed his name. He's no longer going by Power Man and he's interested in cleaning up Chicago, his old hometown. Punisher says that he knows about some drug dealers in the neighborhood and they could team up to take them down. Cage says, "I'll help you get this stash, but nobody dies." This is the first of many times that Luke Cage tells Punisher not to kill anyone. Punisher does not listen. Punisher escorts Cage to the old hotel where he kept his weapons stash, but now it looks like it's become a crack den. "Excuse me, Blood, we're looking for a room." "Take a hike, this block belongs to El Rukins." Punisher and Cage make short work of the doormen. But then some armed men step up and say, "Yo, Blood, no vacancies." This is also a good time to mention that the colorist keeps swapping the shades of brown used on both Punisher and Cage. Look at this previous page. Cage in the red shirt is drawn brown, and Punisher is a bit more charcoal dark, except in the last page, all of a sudden, Luke Cage gets that shading. But then we get to this page, now Punisher is very brown, and Luke Cage is that sort of dark, ashy black. If you can't just pick a shade and stick with it, just use one color. Keep it consistent.
He did alert on $8. I've been taking Accutane and acne medication to permanently get rid of acne, only to realize they are made of gelatin caps. I'm like a level 100 vegan, and I think the answer is obvious, but should I stop taking it? I hate acne, but hate animal abuse more. Probably. You might want to ask Dr. Avi about that, but I would say probably.
What are your thoughts on Rolls-Royce, the BMW M Series cars, and Lotus cars?
Rolls-Royce are kind of grandpa cars. The only car they make that's like cool is the Rolls-Royce Phantom.
Sound on. Would you consider this free speech?
I'll take a look at that in a minute. Thanks for that donation, Will Mage. Yeah, like the Rolls-Royce Phantoms are cool. They're all overpriced as fuck, but you know, the Rolls-Royce Phantoms are cool. I don't know about the reliability. I don't think anybody really drives those cars much, though. The BMW M Series cars, they're great. They're fast as fuck, and they have really amazing performance, and they handle well, but again, reliability is and servicing them is expensive as shit, and they have a lot of really cheap plastic parts. Lotus, some of the Lotus cars are good, some of them are bad. Really depends on what you get. Probably the best Lotus ever made was the one they made with the Toyota engine. Thanks for the donation, Tool. Yeah, so P. Diddler. I'd ask Dr. Avi about that. You can get in contact with him in Ask Yourself's Discord. But I'd ask him about that, but I'd say, yeah, probably not. Is this free speech?
Good evening, cowards. Nice to see a bunch of fat, ugly women.
Oh,
What?
excuse you.
What?
Can we stick with the agenda?
No. They're fat, ugly women is what they are.
We're not having that.
Let's talk about it.
We're not having that.
You don't have to. Bye.
That ain't free speech.
It's called free speech. Bye.
That's not free speech. That's insulting.
Bye. That's good. Shut up.
That is protected by free speech. So, yeah, that is free speech. Thanks for that donation, Will Mage.
And let's not leave out Captain America, Clayface, Professor X, Doctor Strange, Mary Jane, James Franco, She-Hulk, Blade, Loki, Miles Morales, Necron, Green Lantern, The Flash, Martian Manhunter, Elektra, Vision, Storm, Human Torch, Nick Fury, Fantastic Four.
Punisher is friends with Nick Fury. There's actually a really good arcade game where it's the Punisher arcade game, and player 2 is Nick Fury. Thanks for that donation, though, Richie.
Rate these in order of how much they make you want to kill yourself.
That's pretty bad.
Thoughts on Bentley, Lincoln, Acura and Infiniti?
Like, Bentleys are nice cars. They go fast in a straight line. They don't have great reliability. They're way, way, way overpriced. And, they're also way too expensive to fix. Replacement parts are just stupid expensive. It's kind of ridiculous. I'd never get a Bentley for that reason, even if I was rich. Lincolns are nice. They're just made by Ford. They're kind of like Lexus, but Ford. They're all right. Acura is just Honda. And who makes Infiniti? I don't know. I don't know about Infiniti. Thanks for the donation, though, Tool. These are all terrible. Thanks for the donation, Dreamsation.
This is like literally confusing to read. You have to keep going like, wait, who said what? Because the artist kind of draws them looking similarly too. Cage reminds Punisher, nobody dies, still holds, man. Cage and Punisher beat up all the men and Punisher shoots one of them in the arm. Cage loses his temper saying, don't front me, Rook. I told you. Chill out, Cage.
Fun fact: Rolls-Royce released the most expensive car in the world.
Yeah, oh my god. A friend of mine I was just talking about that with a friend of mine. Rolls-Royce, what is it? Boattail? Oh my god, dude. This is the stupidest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. This car costs $30 million. All it is a Rolls-Royce Phantom with a fucking picnic table in the back. This is the dumbest shit I've ever fucking seen in my life. Somebody spent $30 million on a Rolls-Royce Phantom just to have a picnic table installed in the fucking back. It's so dumb. But yeah, thanks for the donation, Pika.
I hit him where I pointed. Did Scholastic publish a book of cool, hip slang terms that this writer got a hold of? Punisher and Cage make their way to the basement, which looks like something out of a post-apocalyptic Mad Max movie. The walls are covered in urine, there's trash everywhere, 2 bodies are slumped over, at least 3 rats are running around, and 2 guys are fighting each other with a machete. Cage and Punisher don't look especially interested in this, except in the next panel, Cage is telling Punisher to put his gun away, and he knocks that guy out. I don't know when, but Punisher must have told Cage that his secret safe is behind a brick wall. Cage breaks it, except one of the vaults has already been cleaned out. In fact, Punisher tries to be cool, saying, oh shit, some slicky boys broke in here. Slicky boys? Now he's just making up slang. Punisher arms himself to the teeth, and the two decide that they're going to team up to take down a local crack house. Strange that Cage isn't complaining about the guns right now, but let's be patient. The next issue begins with Punisher already at this crack house, being surrounded by a bunch of guards. One of the guards says, ain't no boys here, money. Boy swing in the jungle with Tarzan. Boy gets spanked. Punisher tries to act tough, saying, only when he's bad. I'd love to make some puns, but this is so painful as it is. I'm going to spare you for now. Punisher gets escorted to the man in charge of this crack house, and it's a white guy in a business suit who says, welcome, my brother. What can we do you?
Nice cope, dumbass. I'm a Rolls-Royce fan and I think that Boattail looks incredible, to be honest. Stop hating because you can't afford clown.
Dude, it's a Rolls-Royce Phantom with a picnic table. Like, that is not a fucking car that should be worth $30 million. That is just fucking stupid. I like the Rolls-Royce Phantoms, but yeah, it doesn't become $30 million because it has a picnic table in the rear. Thanks for the donation, poor VG.
Q4. Punisher basically says he's got $2,000 and he wants to start doing big-time business with this guy. Mr. Rudy asks to see the money. Of course, Punisher doesn't have the $2,000, so he says that the money was right here before your homeboy frisked me. Mr. Rudy instantly has his second bodyguard break the first bodyguard's arm. That's one way to run a business. Mr. Rudy offers some crack to the Punisher and says he should try it, but before he has to, Cage throws a smoke bomb in as a distraction. Punisher grabs the bodyguard with the broken arm and uses him as a shield. He's shot up. Punisher jumps out of the window on at least the second story, maybe third, lands on a car below. A drunk man in the car casually reacts. Now, can you really survive a second story fall like that? Well, surprisingly enough, you can. Check out what happened to me 2 weeks ago.
Don't forget the wristwatch incorporated into the car that just sits there.
Oh, yeah, that stupid thing. He had a fucking wristwatch that's part of the car. It's so dumb. Thanks for the donation, Unicorn Jizz.
So, I've been thinking about the veganism definition you use and I wanted your opinion on this. If someone is needing to work at a non-vegan place to get money to survive, by that definition, would that make them a bad person since necessary doesn't equals morality?
There's a lot of non-vegan businesses, so, there's a lot of people who've asked me about this who do Uber Eats jobs. They have to deliver food that isn't vegan. Like, the question would be, if you don't work there, would that reduce rights violations or avoid a rights violation? And chances are it wouldn't. So I don't see, like, unless somebody can make a good argument for me, but yeah, like, if you choosing not to work there wouldn't save a single animal's life, I don't see what the moral issue is if you work at a place like that. But thanks for the donation, Ben. Appreciate it.
Punisher and Cage regroup and plan to clear out a crack house. From there, Luke Cage starts spouting off some statistics saying FBI shows most inner-city crimes committed by blacks on blacks. So is that statistic accurate? Well, only from a certain point of view. It's misleading. The fact is, if you look at the FBI crime statistics for something like homicides, the white-on-white percentage of homicides is actually very close statistically to the black-on-black statistic. So it really comes down to neighborhoods. People that you know are those that are going to hurt you, and neighborhoods tend to be homogenous. Once again, Cage tells Punisher, nobody has to die. Now come on, we got things to see and people to do. Punisher and Cage go to a nearby playground and beat up some dealers there. Punisher is about to shoot one of them, and yet again, Cage stops him saying, chill. Cage keeps telling Punisher not to kill people, and he never learns. The two go back to the crack house and the Punisher strangles Mr. Rudy. He kills him with just one hand, snapping his neck. Punisher is in full-on Jason Voorhees mode, killing a guy with one hand. As Mr. Rudy falls to the ground, he rips off his shirt, revealing that the Punisher was wearing his costume underneath the whole time. Cage walks up and says, you didn't need to kill him. Yes, I did. Punisher holds his hand over his costume in this panel to prevent Cage from realizing he's the Punisher. In the next page, he no longer has to cover his chest, but we can't see the Punisher costume anyway, so he lucked out. Also, Cage says to the Punisher, you all right? You look a little pale. Oh, that's our first clue that they're about to undo this terrible idea. Punisher offers to leave, but Cage says, and leave me holding the bag? No way. So in the next issue, they still are teamed up. All of a sudden, Punisher is noticeably lighter than he was before. And eventually, the local gangsters kidnap Melinda Brewer, and she tells them where the Punisher can be found. Even though his arms are tied, Punisher has a revolver hidden in his pocket, and he does this impressive move where he shoots backwards with his hands bound, cannot see, but he manages to shoot the gangster holding Melinda the doctor. Punisher runs out of bullets when all of a sudden Cage has his back. He busts in with some terrible slang saying, "Heads up, boys!" And in the next page, Punisher is finally white again all of a sudden. This doctor really should have told Punisher that he was going to be white again in 3 days. It really would have done him a lot of favors. After Cage and Punisher defeat all the bad guys, Cage says, "So you're the Punisher. Nice disguise till you lost your tan. Had you fooled." Now you might think that Cage, being the no-kill superhero, might tell Punisher to watch his back. In fact, it's completely the other way around. Punisher says, "Don't count on calling any markers. You ride the edge of..."
Okay THX, I was wondering about that since I work in a children's hospital in the clinical nutrition area and we serve mostly non-vegan stuff. I'm just waiting for the opportunity when I become ORDs to try and find a vegan/vegetarian clinic or entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you'd ideally want to have a job that aligns with veganism, but I don't see an ethical issue with working a job like that. Because again, you choosing not to work there isn't going to save a single animal. Thanks for the donation though, Ben.
I am so bored you ara 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 you ara.
I am also somewhat bored. Thanks for the donation though, even now.
...to the law, but you'd better stay on the right side. Don't make me come after you. And that final issue was unfortunately titled Fade to White. Wow, what a bad idea. Punisher turns black. He has to deal instantly with some racist cops, deals with crack dens, Semi goes undercover. He instantly hooks up with basically the most popular black superhero who just happens to run across his path. I mean, there are a lot of coincidences in this, a lot of really dumb moves. Again, they had him be black for 3 issues. Was this the plan all along? Did the editor want them to do this? Was this writer Mike Barron's idea? Was it the next writer's idea? I have no idea who came up with this idea. Nobody seems to want to take credit for it, really, and they sure just brush right past it. It's amazing. It's just such a bad idea, and no one ever talks about this. It's no version of Dracula. All have seen the trailers for the upcoming reboot of The Mummy at this point. Well, that got me thinking about all those awesome classic Universal monsters. Everybody from Dracula and Frankenstein to the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, tons of other great ones. I loved those as a kid. I love them today. It doesn't mean I like every single reboot or adaptation. And it sort of got me thinking, well, what about comic book adaptations? These characters are all in the public domain, so, you know, Marvel and DC all have their versions of the popular movie monsters. But I thought of a particular comic I wanted to review today. It's especially heinous. It is Dracula, as a superhero. And this was done by Dell back in 1966. Dell has a very interesting history in comic books. What a rise, what a fall. So much we can learn from them. In the 50s, Dell was the most popular comic book publisher. They put out tons of titles that every month sold over 1 million copies. And that's because they licensed existing popular properties. They did Disney comics. They did Looney Tunes comics.
Thank you for that view now. Appreciate it.
Some good things to say so far is that in my place of work, we carry vegan infant formulas, tube feedings, vegan-friendly foods in the kitchen, and my boss is trying his best now to give me vegan options when they waste our bonuses on pizza parties lol.
Well, at least you got that. Thanks for the
I
donation,
recently
Ben.
ordered the plans and I have been acquiring parts to build this bicycle. Imagine riding around in a cage. I will always be cage-free and free of the cage rage. Fuck cars. Fuck carnists. And fuck Palestinians.
Yeah, fuck all of those people. Thanks for the donation, cage-free human. Why the fuck do they have pizza parties at work rather than just giving you an extra bonus or something? That's fucking stupid. Thanks for that donation, Ben. They have really cool Danish cargo bikes. Can't remember what they're called. They have a specific name. But yeah, in whatchamacall, in the Netherlands, they use a lot of these cargo bikes. They're really cool. Well, thanks for that donation, cage-free human.
Jocht SSST 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 Jocht SSSTU.
Thank you for that, Viva Mao. Appreciate the donation.
They did Hanna-Barbera comics. Very popular stuff. But they had a falling out with the actual printer, the publisher, Western Publishing, who was handling the actual printing of these issues. Dell was the company that supplied the talent. And they eventually, Western was like, well, why don't we just make comic books ourselves?
Remember when your grandpa was dying and you filmed yourself jerking him off and put it on YouTube?
Yeah, I remember that. That was crazy. Thanks for the donation, John. Nissan makes Infinity? Okay.
Not sure if you remember when I was struggling with references for raising vegan kids. It's finally resolved. But don't you think there should be more focus on the topic since many vegans are now at the age of having kids, should they want to?
It's not a matter of whether you should or should not want to have kids. It's just personal preference. So if you want to have kids, you know, I guess ruin your life and have fun. But yeah, I guess there should be some more resources on having vegan kids. I don't think it's all that complicated to begin with, but you know, thanks for the donation, Mola.
Yeah. So Western went on to found Gold Key Comics, and that's a story for another time. They've got a lot of really interesting characters that they created in that time. But Dell, all of a sudden, they lost most of their popular...
tilde backslash vertical bar tilde. Zara backslash tilde vertical bar backslash vertical bar tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde backslash vertical bar tilde. Zara backslash tilde vertical bar backslash vertical bar tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde backslash vertical bar tilde. Zara backslash tilde vertical bar backslash vertical bar tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde backslash vertical bar tilde. Zara backslash tilde vertical bar backslash vertical bar tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde backslash vertical bar tilde. Zara backslash tilde vertical bar backslash vertical bar tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde backslash vertical bar tilde. Zara backslash tilde vertical bar backslash vertical bar tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash tilde vertical bar backslash
Thank you for that, the now. Excellent spam. You're learning from the best. Appreciate the donation.
Yeah, they'll tell us that with everyone's help. You helped us achieve our million/billion-dollar profits goals, so we'll reward you with a pizza party to recognize your hard work and dedication to making us richer, SMH.
Would you get a pizza party instead of a pay raise for your hard work? Yep. If they paid you more money, you could just buy more pizza. Thanks for the donation, though, Ben.
Titles, they lost a lot of their talent to Gold Key Comics, and all of a sudden they were just in free fall throughout the 60s, and they died early in the 70s. They just couldn't keep going. And this is one of their titles that they came up with while they were frantically looking for new ideas. They decided to make a superhero version of Dracula. But it's important to remember that this was also the era of the comics code, where publishers were trying to sanitize their comics and not come under fire from various groups, parents, teachers, councils, Congress in the 50s, all sorts of stuff like that. So this is super milquetoast. This guy is a disaster as a superhero. He's a total wimp. He's not dangerous or threatening at all.
Would you rather be a trans woman or have to raise 6 kids that aren't yours?
I'd rather be a trans woman. Being a trans woman would be pretty fun. Especially if you have a big dick and you're pretty. Be pretty hilarious just wearing, like, you know, a nice dress and everything, and like having guys look at you and then you like pull out your massive dick and then just, you know, freak people out. If I was a trans girl, I'd like go to the beach and wear like a really skimpy swimsuit that really shows off my bulge. That'd be fun. Thanks for the donation, Ron.
You know what? Instead of just ranting about it, let's actually dive into the comic book itself. However, this is so bad that there's no way I'm going to be able to get through this without some help. So to that end, I brought my friends Gin and Tonic. We're going to get through this comic book together. Let's do it. On page 1, we learned that the story is set in modern day, and for some reason, the nation itself is never referred to as anything. It's certainly not called Transylvania. Instead, it's just called a little-known Middle European country. And we have a very stereotypical / cliche version of a dumb tourist and a very superstitious old local. The tourist asks about the castle in the distance, which is shown in silhouette, and we never get a nice clear look at it. And the superstitious local explains that it is the castle of Count Dracula and asks if he's heard the legend. Legend? You mean the one about the bats? Yes. The ancestors of the present count were strange, deadly. No one goes there. Take my advice. Leave this country at once. What kind of a place is this? I'm leaving. I can tell when tourists aren't welcome. Nothing original there. Now we meet our protagonist. He's a young scientist who's a descendant of the actual Count Dracula. We never learn his first name. He's only known...
These sunglasses are just cheapo pieces of crap that I got on Amazon. They're Chinese.
Known as Dracula. This version of Dracula is working to create a potion that will cure brain damage, and his ultimate goal is to clear his family's name.
Hello. Come here. Yes, say hello to everybody. Jump up. Jump up. Faye. Faye, jump up. Jump up, you son of a bitch. What the hell are you doing? Why are you leaving? Prim prim. Prim prim. Prim prim. Prim prim. Come here, prim prim. Yes, get the hell over here, you son of a bitch. Oh. Yes. Here's my big, strong, handsome kitty. This is my Prim Prim. Does everybody see Prim Prim? See how handsome he is? See how big and strong and handsome this vegan kitty is? Look how beautiful. He's afraid of big birds like geese.
At DDDD at DDDD at DDDD at A. At DDDD at DDDD at DDDD at A.
Thank you for that via Venmo. Appreciate the donation. Here is my cat. He's afraid of big birds like geese. If you take him to a park and there's geese there, he's afraid. He wants to leave because he thinks the big goose will hurt him. Mwah. Don't worry, Prim Prim. The gooses won't hurt you. Yeah. Let me see. Homo is not free. Donated $2.
Hi everyone. As you can see, I'm talking about Coca-Cola today. It's not really necessarily a Coca-Cola review. That's probably about the first video that anybody who does food reviews or drink reviews does. Rather, I'm talking more about the size of this drink. I went to the store today to...
I like your big bald black cock.
Well, thank you, Sophia. Glad you enjoy my big, bald black cock. Thanks for the donation.
This is my annual Coca-Cola and my moon pod that I get to have. That's right, that's willpower for you, once a year. So I'm going to be having the moon pie here. And by the way, I do have a live stream I did.
What do you think will happen first? Woman president or male gay president? Do people hate women more or gay people more? I think a gay president is probably more likely before a female president. The reason I'd say a gay president is more likely to is there's so many like Republicans who are closeted gay men. So like the chances of a closeted gay dude.
Oi omegalulo megalulo 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 omegalulo megalulo 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 omegalulo megalulo 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 omegalulo megalulo 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 megalulum.
Thank you for that, Vimeo. Excellent spam. Appreciate the donation. Yeah, there's so many closeted gay dudes in politics. So, like, especially on the Republican side, the amount of, like, Republican senators and governors and shit who are married, but then, like, have, you know, who are subbed to, like, gay OnlyFans pages or paid gay prostitutes to have sex with. So I think we'll probably have a gay president.
So, I'm trying to think of what I'd want for my future office when I become an RDN and if I was working in a vegan clinic / business / entrepreneurship / etc. What do you think of these flags to display in an office?
Let me see. Vegan flag. Yeah, that'd be cool. Like, most people probably aren't going to know what that is, so they'll probably think it's like a French flag or something, but yeah, it'd be cool. Thanks for the donation, Ben.
A couple years ago about a moon pie and Coca-Cola, and I did a video when I first started the channel about 4 years ago. Well, it's 5 years ago almost now, where I was reviewing a Coca-Cola and moon pie. But rather, I went to the store today and I couldn't find my 10-ounce Coca-Cola. There was a beautiful little red can like this with the white writing, and I love that. And it just said, well, this was I think this is 16 ounces. I don't know if they're the same size around, but the smaller can was the 10 ounce, and this is 16. Just make sure I have that right.
New spam. Pineapple goes on pizza, 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 pineapple goes on pizza.
You would have a hard time convincing me that pineapple goes on anything, let alone pizza. Thanks for the donation, though, Grey Knight. Appreciate it. You know what? When I was a kid, I don't know why, but it was like a thing to put pineapple in rice. I remember so many times I would like go out to restaurants or something. Yeah, well, you're an idiot. You're scum. They'd put pineapple in rice, and it was so fucking disgusting. Why would you do something like that? Pineapple doesn't go well with anything. Like, ugh, it's just fucking nasty.
Yes, it's 16. Let's do the little thumbnail thing here, okay? Or that's where the Pemberton, where Dr. Pemberton, before it goes into grams of added sugars. It's still a lot of sugar. The 10 ounce has, I think it's about 38 grams of sugar, something like that.
Well, that is an old man reviewing Coca-Cola.
I'm Deja.
And I'm Antoine. We're a couple.
And we were born with osteogenesis
imperfecta. Our bones are like glass.
Together, we have broken over 600 bones.
600. People say some crazy things.
They call us Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
Yes, we don't have a voice filter.
People stare.
But we...
Ben Dover Donate Tellers, you missed this flag link I sent. I'd also want to gang this flag in my future office. Think you mean hang. Everyone is welcome here. I think you should get a flag saying no one is welcome here. That's what I need. I need a flag on the front of my home saying no one is welcome here. Just so everybody gets the idea. Thanks for the donation though, Ben.
Don't care.
Because we're looking fresh.
Fresh.
How do they poop?
The king is awake, baby. What you cooking?
French toast and sausage.
Ew, just like I like it. Can't wait to eat. Yeah.
OI is a bone condition that causes our bones to break, sprain, or fracture easier than others. And we both have two different types.
Deja has type 3. I have type 2. My type is more severe than hers.
We depend on our wheelchairs.
These wheels gonna take us far. Believe that.
So, we met through my older sister. This is Antoine. This is for Antoine. So today is especially...
Alright, well that's a cute couple, but they're meat eaters, so hopefully, you know, they go vegan or they die. Waking up in our new tiny home.
We're waking up in our new house, in our tiny home.
Yeah, we got a good house. I don't know why I cry when I'm happy. That's weird.
Be Miami Sprawl, will be Stewart. We don't know.
It is getting big. It's a purple robe, black locust.
We're leaving soon.
Like tomorrow.
Most part. After selling, we get mom. These. We've looked at how many houses now?
The rain.
In a different pattern than this.
There that does the same gold. It's a white.
Let's go to the other house.
This is a quieter neighborhood.
Once we do 100 appears. So your irrigation isn't city water or...
That's actually a score. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
I am.
Wait.
I think they might be gay.
Name. He talks to himself, talking about how he's had years of training in America under an assumed name, and he hopes that this invention of his will clear that name. I'd love to know why he wants to clear his name. There's never any specific reason, like, you know, if I clear my name, I can marry this girl that I love, whose family doesn't respect me, or I can walk around in town without the locals hating me. There's nothing specific like that. He just says to himself he wants to clear his name. That's his...
If you ever decide to start a business, what would it be?
I was thinking of starting a business where I piss on people. Apparently there's people who do that. They just charge like $300 to piss on people. So I'd probably start that kind of business where, I don't know, I'll have like a website with a phone number where I'll charge $300 to piss on you. And, you know, plus like travel expenses. So like $20 for gas or something. So I'd probably start that kind of business. It's pretty easy. You get to piss on people, you know. So I think that's what I'd do as a business. Thanks for the donation, Mola.
His whole goal. Oh well. He mentions to no one at all that he's created a serum derived from the brains of bats that he believes will cure brain damage. And he is very excited to force it on a friend of his who has a patient with brain damage. He thinks that this will clear his name. He puts the potion on a counter, frees a bunch of bats that apparently he'd been researching, and one of the bats knocks over his serum right into his glass of drinking water. He then depressingly says to himself, "As I have no friends, I must toast my success alone. A refreshing glass of mineral water." Yeah, that having no friends, that part I believe. So this careless idiot immediately realizes he's drunk something that's wrong, and the artist has no idea how to represent this in panel 2. There's just some weird flame lines. I don't know what we're supposed to intuit out of that, but a few panels later we realize that
Prim Prim. What you doing up there, Prim Prim? Come here. Prim Prim. Prim Prim. Prim Prim. Prim Prim. Where's Mo?
God damn it.
What it really represents is that his serum has turned him into a bat. This guy, our hero, was planning on giving this serum to a brain-damaged individual. Can you even imagine if he'd succeed?
Can you build up a fart that blows my hair back and fart on my face?
I'm also wondering if I should hand the Israeli flag and the Ukraine flag and the Satanic Temple's flag in my future office. Would I be going too far with hanging the first two flags? I wouldn't care too much with the Satanic Temple's flag since First Amendment right.
Well, you want to make sure you get business, so maybe you don't want to get too political. Thanks for the donation though, Ben.
Cringe. React.
I shall react to this for you. Thanks for the donation, Viva Mao. Yeah, the problem with farting on people for money is I don't know of a reliable way to become farty. Like, usually when cherries are first in season, if I eat cherries, I'll fart like crazy. But, like, I'll get used to them and my microbiome will change and then I don't fart from them anymore. So, like, piss you can just drink and then, like, piss on somebody, but... like farts, I don't know. I don't know how to reliably fart. I'm not like super farty all the time, so I don't know if I can really do that. Damn it.
If you're somebody who works in the health and wellness industry or with spirituality, and you have continued to stay silent for 4 months of genocide, either stop being a sham or get some integrity, okay?
There is no genocide. So, eat shit, you anti-Semite.
And if you're somebody who supports Palestine and you haven't been wearing masks indoors, either stop being a sham or start getting some integrity. This liberation is all connected. Stop sacrificing marginalized people so that you can feel good about yourself.
This is a real person that exists. It's not even a joke or a parody. They're actually real.
In convincing his doctor friend to let him do this, all of a sudden we'd have some senile old man turning into a bat. Great job, Dracula. Real hero, real credit to the scientific community. Coincidentally, at the same time his country is being invaded by some madman dictator with nuclear missiles, we're never told how he gets them, and his name is Boris Eval. Eval. Evil. Subtle. Bah, peace. What is that? A figment of the mind of small, powerless men. I, Boris Eval, shall have power, and I say there shall be no peace. I declare this country to be mine. Let any man disagree, and he will live to regret it. Set up the rockets. Boris explains to some random villager that their country is perfectly located to be in striking distance of every other country. Striking distance of every country in the world? What's the name of this supposed country? Springfield? I did not invent war, but I shall use it as no man has used it before. That castle, once the home of the Dracula family, will be my headquarters, more feared than ever before. For reasons, Dracula and his nameless soldiers instantly take over Dracula's castle and throw Dracula into prison. Dracula decides to spy on Boris, and he apparently needs to take his serum a second time. We clearly see him holding the serum and deciding whether or not he should transform into a bat. He never does that again in the future. He can just transform into a bat at will. That's his only superpower, just to be clear. That is his only superpower. This is not a cool vampire type of guy. He can't hypnotize people. He doesn't have super strength. He doesn't have anything else that goes along with being a vampire. He can just turn into a bat. One of Boris's soldiers approaches him and says, "The rockets are ready. Shall I give the order?" "No, you..."
If I had the superpower to turn into a bat at will, I'd go to like a pig slaughterhouse or a pig farm, turn into a bat, and then infect them all with coronavirus, and then, or rabies or something, and then have people eat the infected pigs and then die. Oh my god, look at Prim Prim. Wow, he's so big and handsome. Look at this kitty. Oh my god. Do you guys see this? Prismo, you are so beautiful and so gray. Oh my god, you're so soft. Wow.
"Fool, not yet." Dracula flies over to the rockets where there's a bunch of captured scientists. He transforms back into a human and talks to them, saying that Boris has asked him to work alongside them, trying to figure out their plan. The scientists explain that their families are being held hostage and they have to maintain the nuclear weapons, and that the only person that can deactivate the nuclear weapons is Boris himself. He is holding a mechanical trigger of some kind that can disarm these rockets. They explain Boris's plan, and it's not too bad, if pretty sci-fi. Apparently, all the big world leaders are about to meet in some, again, unnamed country that's, I guess, nearby. And they're going to have a peace summit. So Boris plans to use his nuclear rockets to blow them up, kill all the world leaders. And then, while their second in command or replacements are brand new to ruling, he's going to fire even more rockets straight up into the air, which apparently will confuse all of their radars, and they'll think that their enemy countries are actually attacking, and they'll launch their own nuclear weapons. Boris plans for complete worldwide nuclear war. That is his goal. I mean, that was the fear in the 60s. So, you know, kudos in some regards to speaking to the reader's real fears. But good Lord, that's actually a terrifying plan, and I have no idea how Boris would benefit from that. How is he going to benefit from the entire world annihilating itself? Because he seems like he wants money or something, but he never really goes a step further to explain that portion of the plan. Oh well. The scientists explain to Dracula that Boris himself is going to the peace conference to bomb it. So Dracula makes up a quick excuse to get out of there, saying, I forgot something. That's about as convincing an excuse as if he told them, I have a boner. Now we cut to the peace conference. There are only two...
Can you translate this, please?
Translate. Sure.
Anyone who thinks that queer people are supposed to support a far-right, apartheid-based police state enacting genocide is seriously confused about our culture.
It's not an apartheid. Arabs have the exact same rights as Israeli Jews. So it's not an apartheid.
Prismo really is a beautiful cat. You should feel very lucky to have him. Anyways, this video might be interesting. Can we watch Greg cope harder than last time?
Why my relationship failed? Wow, he must have felt pretty pressured to make this video. Yeah, we'll watch that after we react to this piece of trash. Thanks for the donation, Richard. And Richards and Kuhn Burgess.
Culture and our history. Queer people have always fought against systemic oppression. Queer people have always fought for liberation. Queer people.
Oh, really? Sort of like the systemic oppression under Hamas, which kills gay people. They literally just killed like 2 gay people a month ago.
Have always fought for self-determination. Any queer person who is pro-Israel is a fucking traitor. Any queer person who is pro-Israel better not be at any Pride events this next year. You know, the entire month where we celebrate a black trans woman throwing...
Good news, I was checking Social Blade, and Greg Doucett has gained literally 0 subs in the last 2 to 3 months. I really hope it's the beginning of the end of his growth. Speaking of growth, I have a partial erection soon to be full mast. You Mirin?
Yes, I'm very jealous. I'll have to bring up Pornhub. Thanks for the donation, Adam. And yeah, I mean, Greg's clearly in decline. He's getting less views per video than he was even a few months ago. His channel's unwatchable at this point. It's just all just brain dead fucking drama trash. I don't know why he can't just make videos relating to fitness. He just has to like complain and whine about shit. So if he started making fitness videos again, he'd probably start gaining more subs. Thanks for the donation though, Adam. Yeah, so it's funny how this person's saying if you support Israel and you're queer, you're a traitor. You realize Palestinians fucking murder gay people?
Throwing bricks at a cop to fight for our human rights. If it was 1969, I would be making bricks for Marsha, okay? I wouldn't be standing in front of the cops going, I don't know, guys, maybe they have a point. Especially as a trans...
Why don't you go to Palestine and see how you're treated there? Maybe that'll change your views on the whole Israel-Palestine situation.
Person in the so-called United States, I see so many parallels of how people talk about Palestinians with how they talk about trans people. The people who call for the extermination of Palestinians are the same people who...
No one's calling for the extermination of Palestinians. Go to any Ivy League university. There's no anti-Palestine rallies calling for the death of Palestinians, but there are rallies calling for the death of all Jews.
Who call for the eradication of transgenderism from public life entirely. The same people who stay silent about Palestine are the same people who stay silent about trans rights being stripped in this country. The United States is literally an older version of Israel. Maybe realize that your dedication to pinkwashing Israel is all a result of propaganda and not morality. Queers for Palestine today, tomorrow, and forever.
What an insane retard.
Please, pretty please, do not act needy. You do not need anyone. Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to explain exactly how to go about and get your dream girl. Now, when I say dream girl, you might be thinking, oh, a 10 out of 10. There's more to having a dream girl than just somebody who's very good looking, as in the end, is how hot they are really going to matter? Or is it going to be the emotional connection, the bond, the growth that happens throughout the years? Think of it, when you're 70 years old, are you really going to care how hot you are?
Bruh, Greg is going on sugar daddy websites to meet trashy gold-digging whores. Like, and then he's saying this. You can literally look it up. He has a sugar daddy profile.
How shredded your quads are, if you have a six-pack? I don't think so. And so get that 10 out of 10 dream girl out of your mind. Dream girl is the one that makes you happy, not the one that looks the best. And so the first problem that the vast majority of people have is they are going through life with a scarcity mindset. And what does that mean? Well, it means that they think that this is the last girl that's ever going to like them. That this is the one, that I need her, that if you can't land this girl, no one better is ever going to come along. And so you start to panic, you get anxiety, you text her.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is such bad cope. So Greg broke up with his girlfriend because he has an abundance mindset. Oh, I can... Allie's not the last girl I'm ever going to date. I could find a better relationship. This guy made a fucking sugar daddy profile. He literally linked in his profile that he's a fucking millionaire and he's like ballin' and all this shit so that like these fucking gold digging whores will fucking date him. Like, I don't know if I'd call that an abundance mindset. I'd just call that, I don't know. Realizing that you're only 5'6" and you sound like the parrot from Aladdin, and this is really the best you can do.
15 times a day. You call her all the time. You're worried. Oh, is she cheating? Is she doing this? Is she doing that? And all that does pushes her away. If you are secure, you should not be thinking that your girlfriend is somehow going to be cheating on you. You should not be worried about her. You should not be stressed out. And if you do in fact break up, that should be seen as a positive. I know you're thinking, how can breaking up be positive? And I've been called a sociopath in the past for thinking, oh, they broke up? Well, that's okay. Well, am I really? I'm thinking that gives them a chance to move on. Perhaps go out and explore the world and find someone better. And so to me, you should see a breakup as something positive. And there are 3 reasons for this. The first one, if the relationship were actually great, if it was actually meant to be, you'd still be in it. Think of it. If something happened and it ended that relationship, it wasn't that strong, it wasn't that great after all. And so knowing that and knowing that you're now broken up, it gives you the chance, the opportunity to find someone better. Number 2, if you don't break up and you somehow manage to stick it out, you talk it over. You decide, oh, I'll ignore all those things that you did. I'll stonewall you. I'll disassociate. I'll just pretend it never happened. If that in fact happens, you're going to be living in limbo. That is a toxic relationship. It is harmful, not beneficial for both parties, but yet you put up with it. Perhaps the relationship is a 5 out of 10. Some days they're good. Many other days they're bad. But because it's not too bad, because nothing happened too out of the ordinary, you put up with it. They haven't beaten you. They haven't cheated you much. And so you put up with it. And so oftentimes I'm thinking, if only it got
Thoughts on lithium iron phosphate versus lithium sodium batteries? Do they use sodium? So I know there's sodium batteries, but do they actually use lithium and sodium? I've never heard of lithium sodium. I've never heard of lithium sodium batteries. There's sodium batteries, but yeah, I've never heard of lithium sodium.
worse. If
sodium batteries right now are pretty shitty. They have a very quick voltage drop off, and they don't have nearly as much capacity, so lithium batteries are just objectively better. The only benefit with sodium batteries right now is that they don't use lithium, so they're actually more expensive to produce right now, but that'll likely change in the future. But yeah, the only benefit is you wouldn't need to use lithium.
Someone actually did something far worse. Perhaps they cheat on you, they treat you like absolute garbage, and eventually you have no choice but to break up with them. Breaking up would then be a sense of relief. Finally, I'm getting out of this toxic relationship. We've been together for 5 years, cheated on each other multiple times, but yet you get back to each other. You can't break free. And so imagine something finally happens so bad and you finally are let loose. You are now free to explore for someone better. And so the problem is
My name is Thiefindar and I am addicted to donating. 7 undecillion 777 decillion 777 nonillion 777 octillion 777 septillion 777 sextillion 777 quintillion 777 quadrillion 777 trillion 777 billion 777 million 777,777.
I have a similar problem, but with butts. Thanks for the donation, David Mao. Dodo donated $2. Comment something nice.
To question him, and he answered, "A man hath appeared amongst us, and he alleges that he is a prophet. Some have followed, and some believed him. Others opposed him. There have been fights between them in many places. I left them even so." Heraclius then told his attendants to see if the man was circumcised or not. And when the answer came that he was circumcised, he said, "This, by God, is the vision which I saw, not what ye say." Then he sent for his chief of police and told him to search the country for a man of the same tribe as the claimant to the prophethood. Now Abu Sufyan, The chief of Abu Shams had been present in Makkah, had not been present in Makkah at the time of the lesser pilgrimage of the Muslims from Medina, for he had taken advantage of the armistice to go with the other two merchants of Quraysh to Syria. It was in Gaza, where they happened to be trading, that the emperor's men found them, and there they were immediately taken to Jerusalem.
I have a
As soon as they were
cousin who's
ushered into the
marrying
royal
a
presence,
6-year-old.
they
Should
were
I tell
asked
him to
which of them was
convert to
nearest in
Islam
kin to those who
first?
claimed to be a prophet. And Abu Sufyan replied that he was the nearest. Whereupon Heracles summoned him forward and sat him in front of him, saying to the others, I will question him, and if he lieth, do ye confute him. When asked the general questions about his Hashemite cousin, Abu Sufyan began to
donated
belittle him
$2?
and said, let him not cause thee any anxiety. His importance is less than thou hast heard it to be. But the emperor impatiently cut him short with more particular questions, and having received a precise answer on every point, he summed up his conclusion as follows. I asked thee about his lineage, and thou didst affirm that it was pure and of the best amongst you. And God chooses no man for a prophet, save for him who is the noblest lineage. Then I asked it if any kinsman had made claims like of this, and thou said nay. Then I asked them if he had been disposed of sovereignty, and had made this claim for the sake of recovering it. And again thine answer was nay. Then I asked thee about his followers, and thou said they were the weak and the poor, and young slaves and women, and such have been followers of the prophet in all times. Then I asked if any of his followers left him, and thou said none. Even so is the sweetness of faith. Once it hath entered the heart, it departed not away. Then I asked if he were treacherous, and thou did answer nay. And verily, if what thou hast told me be truth, he will vanquish me here, where I stand, and would I were with him, that I might wash his feet. Go ye now about your business. The prophet had written a letter to Heracles on the same lines as his letters to the rulers of Persia and Egypt, summoning him to Islam. This letter, which had been delivered by Dia al-Kalbi to the governor of Bostra, was forwarded to Jerusalem soon after Abu Sufyan had, despite himself, convinced the emperor that the Arab claimant's prophethood was indeed a true prophet. The letter from Medina confirmed this, but for still further assurance, Heracles set down on paper all that he had learned, including an account of his vision, and sent it to a man of Constantinople, whose knowledge and judgment he
Dude,
relied
these
on.
people are so fucking delusional. The response I get is, oh, he should convert to Christianity because Mary and Joseph were 12. Or, sorry, Mary was 12 when she was married to Joseph, who was 70. Just a complete deflection of the fact that Prophet Muhammad married a 6-year-old.
Success and right guidance be your aim, and if you would that your sovereignty remain firm, then pledge your allegiance to this prophet. They understood his words, for they knew of the prophet's letter. And as one man they turned and fled to the doors which they tried in vain to open. Seeing their great aversion, Heracles despaired of making them believe as he believed. So he called them back and reassured them. I but said what I said, that I might test the strength of your faith, which now I have seen. And they prostrated themselves before him and were reconciled. He was nonetheless certain that Syria would inevitably be conquered by the followers of the prophet. But for the moment, he felt obliged to keep his convictions to himself. MashaAllah. Right, I think this is the part I just want to share just before we end the this particular segment. Well, maybe the end of the show, we'll see. No. Not this part. Have we already seen that part? One second. Where's the part there? 1 second. Let me just drop back a... Let me just stop the screen before I do anything stupid. Right. Where was this part? Did my... there we go.
Your small mind still hasn't wrapped around how civilization change over periods of time and how norms change, but rather one thing that hasn't is the structure of guidance. Buddy, the Prophet Muhammad raped a child. Like, that's his cope for why it's okay the Prophet Muhammad raped a child? Like, these people are just like fucking so deranged. Oh my god.
So, today, my brother and I finally found an Indian vegetarian restaurant that offers a buffet in the morning/afternoon. Vegan-friendly food was so delicious, met some cute Jewish women and stood in solidarity with one of them wearing a #BringThemHome necklace.
That's pretty dope. There's a Indian place in Ottawa that I still want to go to, Govinda's. I like Indian food. But thanks for the donation, Ben. Thee Them Thou donated $2. Time to log off. My final dono of the night. Let me see.
Stretch.
Oh my god.
He likes to stretch too.
Oh my god. Joey is so handsome.
When I get down on
That's
the mat to
amazing. Look at him. Look at how handsome. Oh my god, look at his little paws. That's amazing. Wow. Well, thanks for the donation, Thee Them Thou. Sweet dreams.
Vast majority of relationships are stuck in the 5 out of 10 zone. I'm sorry, but consider this. You make a vow for marriage till death do us part, and yet the divorce rate is over 50%. So even people who swear to God, we are together forever through thick and through thin, even at that point, 50% of relationships fail. And so what chance do you have right now, if you just started off with a partner, perhaps you've been together 6 months, a year, whatever, what chance do you really think you have that you're going to make it till the end? Probably not very much. Maybe 10%. Chances are whoever's watching this right now, in 20 years from now, you're not going to be with the same partner. And so adopting the scarcity mindset, thinking there's no one else out there better, that you have to stick it out because no one else will ever come along. That is your first and biggest mistake. And so essentially what people do is they fall into complacency. They date out of convenience. Perhaps you were shy, girl gave you attention, you didn't think you'd get anyone better, and she's now your girlfriend. In comparison, if you had an abundance mindset, the opposite of a scarcity mindset, you would know for fact there are plenty of fish in the sea. In fact, thousands, if not millions, or even billions. Think of it. Oh, she's the one. How many people have you even met? 1,000? 10,000? A million? There are billions of girls on this planet. And so the fact that this girl that you were with right now didn't work, do you really think that there's not someone else, perhaps even better, that's going to come along? Do you really think that there's only one true love on this planet? If you think logically, and I did in fact teach math, you will know that there are thousands, if not millions, of other opportunities here on this world. You likely won't have time to meet millions of people, but in today's day and age, with social media, you perhaps do have access to millions of other females. And so why are you caught up on this girl right now that's giving you a 5 out of 10? You've tried, you've self-actualized, you've read books on relationship, how to become an effective communicator. And so if you apply all this, doing your best, and it's still not working, why are you settling? Get out of the victim mentality. Now listen, rejection is not only normal, it's to be expected. Expect being rejected. And so perhaps you have anxiety. You're scared to get your heart broken again. Well, be prepared. That is very likely going to occur. But are you not strong enough to get through this? Do you not have the mental fortitude, the courage, the strength to overcome this? Worst case scenario, you end up alone. You don't have that significant partner. Does that mean you don't have friends? People who are close in your lives, friends, family, coworkers, and so on. The only time you know you're truly going to be alone is if you completely give up. If you still put yourself out there, you keep trying, eventually, one day, you will in fact meet someone. And I know many of you are shy. You're watching videos on YouTube, cold approach. Dylan McKnight walking up to a bunch of girls. Hey, I'm Dylan McKnight. I'm super hot, 6 feet tall. Do you want to go on a date? Yeah, he says he's shy. Everyone is shy. Well, to an extent, when you present yourself in an awkward or unfamiliar environment and you have to say something, of course you should expect to feel uncomfortable. Everyone does. But that doesn't mean you don't try. Just like building your physique, you can work on your shyness. It takes practice. Physiques weren't built in a day. Chris Bumstead's physique was not built in a day. I certainly did not build mine in a day. It took having a relationship. It takes time and in the first month. And so consider it practice. Avoidance attachment style. As soon as they get close, they on the first date, second date, third, but perhaps it's after a month. If you know there's no way that you can see a future with this person, then you can in fact meet other people. Because you don't, how are you ever going to meet anyone? Remember, respecting them, other people will find out. Are they going to be of high value? Girls that you would want to be a 10.
Dude, why did he title this Why My Relationship Failed? We all know Allie's the one who broke up with him. He didn't break up with Allie. This is just fucking cope, dude. W donated $2. Did you see President Sunday ended up making Holocaust denial talking points by claiming the Holocaust wasn't Nazi policy? Yeah, I did. I saw that.
I just learned this, but did you know that India, as a whole, supports Israel? Also, here's some pics of what we got to eat at the restaurant, and the price was pretty good for an all-you-can-eat lunch buffet.
That's pretty sick. Woodlands, Nashville. Yeah, that looks pretty dope. Yeah, I like Indian food. It's pretty fucking awesome. Thanks for the donation, Ben. And yeah, I knew India is in support of Israel.
Jesse Lee Peterson says Satan is the woman's god.
Problem is, man, so that's what's the problem with the preachers. But that's what the problem is, man. They hate you because you're a son of God. And Satan is their daddy. And when you believe her, Satan is your daddy. Because you love her, you love Satan. You should only love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. What do you think about that, Victoria? Then I'll ask you right in a minute. Victoria, what do you think about Satan is your daddy?
That is an accurate statement.
Right on.
I know you thought it was going to be something else, huh?
No, I'm not surprised you said that was accurate. You said it was right?
Yeah, it's accurate.
Because
I agree
you
with
want what's right. And there are women, that's why women come to bar. They want to hear the truth. They know something is wrong, but they don't quite know what it is. And so anyone that seek God, He's going to make a way for you to find Him. He's going to find you and bring you back home. So I'm not surprised at that at all, Rebecca. Yes?
Just a quick question. What if the male is beta? So in the scenario where...
Good choice. I mean, good question. If a woman was of God, really born again, didn't hate her earthly father, if she happened to run into a beta male, she would have great compassion for him and not judge him. She would be so that God could work through her to show him the right way. She wouldn't judge him and try to control him and hate him and call him names and, that kind of stuff. She would have love.
You know, I have a funny feeling Jesse is speaking like a lot from personal experience here.
But women don't have love. They only have Satan love, hate.
Yeah, so Jesse Lee Peterson has a failed marriage, and he's also a closeted gay man. I imagine his wife would belittle him for being gay and shit, and he had a really toxic relationship with her. And this is probably where all this is coming from.
Yes, sir.
So what do you say to women that are like church going? I have two sisters. They go to church and they say they follow Jesus. They're both single mothers. And they said, I'd follow a man if he was like Jesus.
Whenever a woman tell you that, leave her. You with Satan. Because if a woman is truly born again, she's not going to use, I follow Jesus, right? One thing about following, I don't even know what it means to follow God. You don't follow God.
Jesse Lee Peterson is fucking insane.
Mr. Sunday, I just said, in accordance with what I just said. It seems like your methods of interlocution are far beneath you. I didn't mean to. What is this? There's no... Hang on. I never thought I'd see a decent point in a Sunday stream. Good job, Lornabox. Lornabox, policy is when calculated and prepared. Lornabox sadly had been disappointment for a while now, but I never thought he will make such idiotic claim. You mean when he claimed the Holocaust was official Nazi policy? It wasn't. That's why people don't point to it when arguing with Nazi apologists who downplay the Holocaust. But the transfer wasn't Zionist policy because it wasn't in print? Bro. Bro, if I got Sundays saying that the Holocaust wasn't policy now.
I saw this debate. President Sunday has completely lost his fucking mind, dude. It's just insane. He's literally at this point parroting Nazi talking points.
Gaming tonight?
Holy shit. Thanks for the big donation, David. Really appreciate that. I guess we will, since you donated so much money. I feel bad not continuing the stream on longer if you're going to donate so much. So yeah, we probably will. Thanks for the donation, dude. Grey Knight donated $2. Eddie Abu on vegan clients. Let me see. Oh god, this guy's a fucking moron.
You're vegans, plant-based, leave me the fuck alone. Eddie, I'm vegan, I'm plant-based, I'm vegetarian. What can you
Dude, how fucked in the head do you have to be vegan and follow this guy?
help me? And I'm like, no, I can't. It goes against everything I believe. I'm not going to be starting to promote protein bars. I know people say, Eddie, you sell protein bars. Come to my fucking gym. You never come to my fucking gym. How the fuck do you know that I sell protein bars? I'm telling you that we're supposed to eat animal protein as human beings. If you want to eat plants, that's fine. But stay on your side of the fence. I can't help you. I don't want to help you. How can I help you with something that I don't believe in at all? I believe we are all supposed to eat animals. I love animals. Somebody says, oh, Eddie, you heard.
You don't love animals. You're just a piece of shit. What are you doing, Prim Prim? What's all this meowing? Beemo. Beemo. What are you doing, Beemo? Beemo. What are you doing over there? I don't know if they're chasing after a bug. I saw an isopod down here the other day. They're being weird.
Hurting the animals. I'm not hurting them. I'm fucking eating them. That's what I'm doing.
Yes, and if I ate you, I would be harming you.
I'm eating the fucking animal. Listen, I've never hurt no fucking animal. I just eat the fucking animals. If you don't like it, that's your problem. But leave my page alone. I'm not getting involved in this debate about vegetarian, vegan bollocks and all that. Just leave me out of it. I love meat.
Yeah, this guy is intolerable.
You see,
Yeah, this guy, like, it's so funny. This is him when he was younger. He was on well, he probably still is on steroids. Like, I don't understand how a guy who takes drugs that increase protein utilization, like, the guy's taking drugs that increase nitrogen utilization in the body, and then he's scared about not being able to get enough protein on a vegan diet? You're on drugs that increase nitrogen utilization. Like, of all people, you should probably be the least concerned. Like, what a fucking moron. This guy's gonna croak any minute, too, by the way. With the amount of drugs this guy was on for so many years while being on a shit diet, we're gonna hear in the news that, fitness influencer, dipshit, blah, 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 Eddie Abu, died of a heart attack. Any day now. Any fucking day.
But you
guards guarding the room that the meeting will be held in, and Boris...
I have a tiny gaming stream, and while playing Fallout 76 someone complained about me not liking to shoot dogs while shooting raiders freely. He ended up saying vegans are Satanists. When I told him about Seventh-day Adventists, he said, so are they, lol.
Well, that is somebody who is not a deep thinker. So, by the way, what are you cats doing? Like, the amount of carnists who would be willing to shoot and kill people, but, like, feel bad when they have to shoot dogs in a video game, like, that's not unique to vegans. Thanks for the donation, though, Mola.
Walks up in the most cartoonish fix-it cosplay you could invent and says he needs to work on the microphones. The soldiers say that the room is off limits to everyone, but the second soldier says, oh, the translating system needs to be worked on. Sure, let him pass. It's nice to know that the leaders of the free world could afford 2 guards that instantly let in a madman who replaces all the microphones with bombs. That's some top-notch security we've got in place. Fortunately enough, our hero Dracula has flown to this mystery country as a bat and is spying on Boris outside of the building. He transforms back into a human and easily knocks out both guards. He runs in to interrupt the meeting and explains that there's a bomb somewhere. He doesn't know exactly where, but he says, you've got to leave right now. Now, the world leaders do think he's a bit of a crackpot, but they can't take the chance that he's right, so they all evacuate back to their embassies. And apparently they also just let Dracula walk away, because as Boris notices that all the world leaders have left before he can...
Dude, these cats are doing weird shit. Bimo, what the fuck are you doing over there? Bimo. Get out of there. Bimo. 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 Get out of there. The hell is this? Jesus.
And detonate his bombs, he gets into his helicopter to fly back to Dracula's country, and Dracula chases after him as a bat. Boris intends to find who among his men betrayed him, but Dracula is able to literally fly faster than a helicopter in his bat form. We're never told that he's some sort of super bat, but I guess he is, because that's a pretty fast bat. Boris goes straight to Dracula's cell to see if Dracula betrayed him, but Dracula is already there. Boris is surprised, and Dracula almost gives himself up. He's so cocky. He goes, what did you expect, Eval? Did you think I flew out of here? I guess to Boris's credit, why would you assume that somebody could fly? It just seems like a strange thing to say. Boris decides to see if he can win Dracula over to his cause, inviting him to a private dinner. This is a perfect opportunity for Dracula to save the world by killing this crazy dictator with nuclear weapons. Instead, he insults Boris to his face. After Boris asks if Dracula would like to help make this country a new world power, Dracula says, you have failed at that once, Eval. Do you want to fail again? You are an insolent nobody. How foolish I was to think you could be of value to me. I take what I want without your help. Dracula thinks to himself that maybe he can trick Eval into disarming the rockets, but that actually never happens. Instead, he flies to a cave full of bats and transforms himself into a bat, thinking, since I am one of them, they will follow wherever I lead. Not quite sure that's exactly how bats work. Dracula leads the bats all around the rockets, and Boris panics, thinking, no, they must not explode. Without them, I have no power. Nobody would listen to me if I had no nuclear rockets.
How is my deity this fine Ramadan evening?
I'm doing just fine. I sure as hell ain't celebrating Ramadan, but I'm doing just fine. You know what's fucking hilarious? People have been complaining about Israel, slowing down trucks entering...
Jesse Lee Peterson hilarious interview where he gets kicked off the show a few minutes in.
Okay.
Welcome.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. This was good. We can watch that. Thanks for the donation, lesbian. People are, saying because of Ramadan, it will increase the likelihood of starvation in Gaza because, a lot of the Arabs in that area are strict Muslims, so they won't eat during the day. It's like, motherfucker, you're the ones not choosing to eat. It's so stupid. oh, with the food shortages and Ramadan, it's like they're the ones not wanting to eat. Like, what the fuck? It's hilarious.
To the bullpen. Of it. Pastor Jesse Lee Peterson, founder and president of JLP Show. Good day. Welcome to Indisputable.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Sir, you all have a celebration coming up next month. Are you not the founder of White History Month, I think, which starts in July?
Yeah, we're going to be celebrating our 4th year of White History Month in July. And the reason that we started it in July is because if you notice, July just feels white.
Yeah.
You know, it's summertime, vacation time, relaxing time, reflecting time, and appreciating the greatest country on this side of heaven.
Gotcha.
And so we are recognizing that and showing our appreciation for it.
I think it's important for people to know you're not a comedian. What you're saying, right? What you're saying, this is actually you. You do this. You did found. You're the founder of White History.
Dude, I hate this guy's like little bitch pencil thin mustache. It looks like there's tiny little ants crawling across his fucking upper lip.
Month.
Yes.
You've also been very critical of Juneteenth. You have called it a fake holiday, but you are you want to make sure that everyone supports White History Month.
Absolutely.
I do want to have a policy discussion with you about the George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act. I'm going to attempt to have that policy discussion with you. Do you agree or disagree with the George Floyd Policing and Accountability Act?
I totally disagree because, as we all know, George Floyd was a black, unemployed drug addict with a criminal record. And I just
think let's first of all, let's clear something up, sir. You really should be ashamed of yourself. You call yourself a Christian pastor. George Floyd is dead.
It's his fault.
He's dead because a cop killed him.
No, he's dead because he was a drug addict.
My question to you, and that's adverse to the evidence, by the way, what you just said. My question to you was about policy. So let me ask you, what in the policy of the George Floyd Policing Act do you disagree with?
The whole idea.
Which part of the policy, Jesse?
Blaming the cops and no responsibility
Jesse,
for the blacks.
I'm asking you, what part of the policy is written? You can find it at congress.gov. What part of the policy, sir, do you disagree with? This is a simple question.
I disagree with the whole idea of a policy.
You haven't read the policy. You haven't even read the damn policy. Come on,
Jesse. I don't need to read it. I don't need to read it to know the truth because what I've...
Why are your past YouTube streams under a paywall? I'm a $15 a month patron and I've been a member for over a year. Are you really that much of a greedy fuck that you're paywalling stuff that's free to begin with? Unblock them. You're a piece of shit nigger.
I think I'll charge more just because you called me a piece of shit. Thanks for the donation. Richard is a Jew.
Notice is that black people today, due to their lack of love, their lack of believing in God, they love evil more than they love good, right?
So that's the reason why you don't read.
And so
that's the reason why you don't read.
Right, because it was written by no good black people. And why should I waste my time knowing what they're about? Black folks today, and not all, but most, have no sense of direction. They're blaming everybody but themselves. And until they take responsibility for their own lives, they are not going to get better. The real truth is,
let me ask
George Floyd is dead because of George Floyd and no one else.
That's a ridiculous point. But do you blame yourself for not reading the policy, or you blame somebody else?
Why should I read the policy when I already know the people?
You don't even know what's in the policy, do you?
I don't need to know, don't want to know. I know the people who are writing it. They are no good.
Okay, let's talk about Black Lives Matter. This is proper.
Oh my God, dude.
I can't stop moaning whenever I watch your streams. Should I see a doctor? Is this normal? What's going on?
I think most people have that problem, especially if they're shoving a banana up their butt. Thanks for the donation though, Poppy Black Lotus.
Probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
You
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
We'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who
All
hate
right, have a good man.
God.
Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you.
Who
Thank you.
hate
Dodo donated $2. Let me see.
Andrea, and I'm on Linux again. I'm on Debian Mate, and this is a quick video on how to convert FM MPEG files to whatever format you want. That's video files on that. I'll just show you what I mean. This is the terminal. And this is what I'm running. I'm running Debian Bookworm with the Mate desktop, as you can see here.
What was that? The street preacher looked so baffled when I asked him why he dressed with 40 pounds of headlines strapped to his chest. But he cursed me when I proved to him. I said, not even you can hide. You see, you're just like me. I hope you're satisfied. Bob Dylan. The first thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. What the fuck?
And this is what you can use to convert files. Well, there's another option as well. I'll close this.
How did this get 378k views in 8 days? Okay, that's weird. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Oh, hey, Faye. Hello. Wanna come say hi? Hello. Yeah, come here. Yeah, that's a good doggy. That's a good doggy. Wanna jump up and say hi to everybody? Wanna jump up? Yeah, that's a good dog. Oh my god. Look how pretty. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a good dog. Yeah, that's a good doggy. You know I love you? Yeah, you're a good dog. Yeah. You're good. You're so good. Yeah, that's a good little sweetie.
God who hate the nuclear family.
Yeah. Listen, for those of you who wanted me to continue to engage.
Dude, Jesse Lee Peterson is so fucking hilarious.
Rockets. Boris is worried that the rockets could get tipped over soon, so he jumps in a car and plans to drive to the mountains and set off the rockets, causing nuclear war, thinking to himself, if I can't rule, then nobody will. And then Boris drives himself right off of a cliff by mistake. Was Boris scared of Dracula, or was he distracted by the bats? No, he just killed himself by accident. Dracula did jack shit. Even though Boris crashes to his death below, Dracula worries, oh no, even the slightest jostle to that disarming box could set off the rockets. But then Dracula finds the box and says, oh, it must have fallen before the crash. It's a miracle. And clicks the box from arm to disarm. Yeah, basically Dracula just got lucky. If that box had crashed along with Boris, all the rockets would have gone off. But they just didn't. So, score one for the good guys? Now you might be thinking, well, the issue's over, right? I mean, the story's over. But no, we're actually only 2/3 of the way through. The climax happens 2/3 of the way through, and then we still have a ton of pages to get through that are basically just pointless filler. I'll explain what goes on in them. They help set up Dracula's new origin, but it's just terrible pacing. This stuff should have all happened earlier in the story. Technically, I guess the only heroic moment Dracula had was getting the world leaders out of the peace conference when they could have been blown up. Maybe that would have been a cool place to end the first issue, with Dracula actually saving
Jolington says vegan gains, indeed.
somebody. Whatever, it keeps going. Dracula decides he wants to do good for the world, and he comments to himself, As a mortal, I am weak. I have allowed my body to weaken. If I am to be a force for good, I must change that now. And the next several pages show him spending, I don't know, a month lifting weights, doing some push-ups, eating well, although his table seems to just have bread and cookies. He thinks to himself, this isn't half bad. Not like the things I'm used to, but not bad at all. And after just a few more exercises of jumping and doing push-ups, he thinks, I'm ready! My personal favorite part of the training montage is when he trains as a bat. He decides to do some sort of made-up slalom course. Faster, good, little faster, watch it, perfect. That's just cute. After that, Dracula goes to the local tailor and has a special suit made for himself, and he looks like a complete doofus. Posing in the mirror, Dracula says, I like it. That single panel is the only panel in the entire first issue where he wears his superhero costume. It's basically just purple spandex and some sort of weird cowl that even covers his nose, but not like Batman's where it's like, you know, cool and bat-like. This is more like some sort of a sticker or a marker line drawn right down his nose. He looks like a kid that maybe took a sock and cut some shapes out of it and then just pulled it over his head. He looks like an idiot. And then, as he walks home, his castle is burning down. We're never told who burned down his castle. He just says, you know, people must be afraid of me. I guess they took their time being afraid of you. But yeah, so his castle got burned down, and instead of getting angry, he decides that this is the impetus he needs to become a superhero. Great. A guy who exercised and can turn into a bat. What a loser. One thing that amuses me is during his training montage...
Did you see the trailer for the Marvel Rivals game?
Top-notch team to win this one. Pick your hero. Go!
By the Vishanti, Sv3rige is here.
Oh, God. What are they doing?
React to this. These kids need to lay off the roids.
Dude, I can't believe they'd make a fucking piece of shit game like this. What the fuck are they thinking? It's literally Overwatch in third person with Marvel characters. Why? They could make good Marvel games. Why would they make this? Let me take a look. Holy fucking shit, dude. Yeah, this kid's on steroids.
To bench my life goal of 500 pounds at just 17 years old. Here's how it went.
Going the distance, Sv3rige music, really a lifetime PR.
Maybe he's natty and he's just like super freakish strong, but I don't know.
Can't express it. We're warming up now though, it's go time.
That's weird. Yeah, if you're benching 500 at 17, I have a hard time believing you do that naturally. Even though he doesn't look that big, I think he's probably on something. That's crazy.
Hi, welcome to Albert's gonna be smelling the salt. Smelling salts review. Go. Go, Blake.
Friend Albert recommended putting some bands on the bench and going again.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. That is fucking ridiculous. He is wearing elbow wraps, but still, that's fucking ridiculous at 17. That's impressive for sure, but I don't know. Sus. I don't know if he's natty. That is crazy. Dodo Natellers, watch the Vice video I sent you. Vice video. World's first cyber weapon attack.
Did you hear about that young LA-sponsored athlete who just got dropped for abusing his cat on camera? John Bravo made a video about it. I guess his name's Daddy Ioli. I hope he gets hit by a car Prismo is driving.
Yeah, for real. What a scumbag.
Pretty disgusting, and anyone that would sponsor somebody that does that is pretty pathetic also, but...
It's called Young LA. And the story, which was brought to light by Lee Priest on his Instagram, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. The story talks about one of its athletes abusing a cat. And I'm not talking about, you know, tickling the cat, playing with the cat, wrestling with the cat. No. This kid, okay, one of their athletes, takes the cat, chokes the cat multiple times, throws the cat multiple times, and I'm talking picks it up by its fucking head, okay? And kicks it multiple times on camera.
Well, good morning.
What a disgusting piece of shit. Hey, I hope that guy fucking dies.
Yes, people. I know you know I love animals and that, and people have sent me the video of that, what's his name, Daddy something, with the cat abuse, where it looks like choking a cat, punching a cat, then going to kick it, and he's sponsored by Young LA. I know people have sent me the videos. I sent it to Dave, and Dave said it's taken out of context, but I don't know what that means. Is it him punching the cat, choking the cat, going to kick the cat? It looks like it, but until we look deeper into it, I'm not too sure. But if you want to check it out and see what you think. But if it is him, pretty disgusting, and anyone that would sponsor somebody that does that is pretty pathetic also. But we'll wait till we get more information on it. But I have seen the YouTube clip, so go watch it and see what you think.
All right, it was so bad.
Jesus. Apparently he made the cat eat pre-workout as well. Dude, I wish I could get 10 minutes alone with that fucker.
That the Mexican news did a whole story on it, showing what this kid was doing, and it had almost 500,000 views in Mexico. All right. And Lee Priest, again, you know, I have to give him credit for bringing a story like this to light, because animals, okay? We all love animals. I love animals. Animals have existed in my life as pets since I was a baby. And I'm sure most of us feel the same way when it comes to them. We love them, you know, sometimes more than even human beings, for most of us. So they mean a lot to us. So when we see something like this, okay, it's very disturbing. So Young LA, after this controversy, again, brought to light by Lee Priest, all the credit to him for doing that, they posted a statement. I'm going to read it to you right now. We have recently been made aware of a video circulating of one of our athletes. We want to assure you that we take matters like this very seriously. At Young LA, we hold our athletes to a high standard of conduct. As such, we are currently conducting a thorough investigation into the situation internally. This is the part I don't get. They're doing an investigation, but if you just watch that clip, that's the investigation right there. What's there to see after that? We ask for your patience and understanding as we continue our investigation and gather all relevant information. Our priority is to address this matter swiftly and appropriately. Please know that the values of integrity, respect, and accountability are fundamental to our organization, and we are committed to upholding them in every aspect of our operations. We've suspended the athlete. Thank you for your support and cooperation. So they suspended the athlete. But seeing this footage, which I'm not posting here, you guys want to go look it up, you can look it up on your own. I'm not posting it here because it's that graphic. But just seeing that footage, why would you suspend somebody? You get rid of them. So that's my issue with Young LA. You see something like this happen, and you didn't investigate this athlete before taking him on, because you guys have some of the biggest influencers in this industry as part of your team, right? A video that has close to 500,000 views, I would have thought you would have seen this prior to signing this person. But now you have a chance to get rid of him, and you're saying you're suspending him because you need to review it and do a thorough investigation. What do you guys think about this? I'm curious to see your thoughts. I know you guys love animals. You never want to see something like this happen to an animal. And then I'm remembering Bradley Martin. He loves Young LA so much. So I'm very curious if he's going to be speaking about this on his podcast. But again, Lee Priest, thank you for putting this story out there. And we all love animals. I've been on TRT for over 10.
Yeah, that's pretty messed up. I don't know why they'd suspend him if they know he did that.